Okay, now I think it's live. It actually is showing some signs of life. There we go. I have no idea. Just got the notif. Okay, sorry about that. Like, again, for anyone that's just tuning in on the YouTube side of things, I thought I had it set up. We were about to do rolls, and chat was informing me that the YouTube side wasn't working. So I went and double checked, and I guess the connection never took. So my apologies for that. You guys missed the small little first part of stream where I was just talking shop and cleared out JP. But and we were kind of talking about the guide and how like I don't really ever want to like make people feel like they need to grail a unit just to farm a node and stuff like that. First, yes. Okay. Glad to see it's working on that side. I also see it in my bot, thankfully. So did the mods not end the Gamba? I'm not sure which mod started it. I think it was Torak. It has ended, Pepega. Oh, it's weird because like it doesn't show that it's ended on my end, but I'll trust your words. Okay, let's begin then. I just don't want to like start the roll while the Gamba's still going so that nobody gets like an improper like bet, right? Oh, I can't do my paidless single, at least not yet. That's fine. We'll start out without it because I'll eventually have to buy a pack. I can almost guarantee it. So unless I just get really lucky, right? Like that would be nice for a change. Me getting really, really, really lucky and like getting like NP5 and like under 200 quartz. Buy a pack, he says. Yes. You know, a pack or 5. Hope you have the same luck I have. Same. I hope my luck is good. I won't be surprised if it's not, though. I feel like this year I've been decently lucky, so. Trying for NP1? I will go at least NP2. I need to think about whether or not I want more. Because, like, one of the things that's becoming really apparent is, like, Lartoria really is my only, like, NP5 AoE. But I'm not sure if I want to, like, push Britomart to be, like, the alternative there. I feel like there's better candidates. So I'll kind of, like, think about that as to, like, do I want her at NP2? Do I want her at NP3? Or do I, you know, go all the way? We'll just kind of see. I'll probably try to, like, play the roles a little bit here because there's also like no rush. I don't need to like sit here and go like, oh, let me just, you know, like immediately max out this unit. Gets 2 pity and 1 within a multi to pity. Yeah. Don't remind me of that. And Brito in 70, I believe. Nice. Can always use Lalter. I do have a really robust Lalter, and I do have plans to like kind of get her up and running on the grailing side of things. But right now, I'm currently like stuck in that regard. I'm quite literally limited by my grails. I am in the process of 120ing MHX. She'll probably be there by the end of this Lotto because I should have enough grails, and then it'll probably go to MHX-A after that. That'll take a little bit into next year. And then after that, I'm kind of free. Like, I basically... The problem with that is I have to kind of think about, like, what's to come. Because we do get a couple of, like, Evocation Fest campaigns where you get 2 times experience bonus for some of those welfares. And as you guys know, some of those welfares are saber faces. So that's technically like the best time to grail them. But I'm not really like sure if that's like something I want to commit to right now, right? MHXA deserves it. Oh, she do. She's done solid work for me. One paid got me MP2 Sith. Nice. Okay, that was my double. I only have 8 tickets, so on to the multis. 30-cent quartz, nothing. Wow. You should get her in less. I never win those. Oh, don't worry. I'll prove you wrong. Now that you've said it, I'll prove you wrong. Loading? Well, remember, anything can be loading, including a new craft essence, right? Including nothing. You can also just get nothing with loading. Because loading sometimes can mean it's loading a new asset. Loading can also just mean it's connecting to the server. Mordred Spiritron dress is free in the shop now. I don't know if it happened earlier. I think it happened earlier. Caster. Oh, yo, Shez. That's kind of bad luck, but, like, I'll take it. I don't think I have a maxed out Shez. I'm down with the thickness. Remember, running foes can lie? Yes. It's an omen. What are we going for? Whatever I feel like. You downloaded all data? I never download the data. I'm sorry to disappoint you, chat. Usually, my phone's fast enough, it doesn't make a difference. Like, I know with like slower and smaller devices, it's usually a thing where like it can really help the performance because I used to do it. But pretty much since I went to even like the iPhone 12, I basically just like stopped doing it. Aurelia's glasses flashing, that is the light refracting off of them. Basically, they're sparkly. Why are you looking into her eyes, chat? You look at me, okay? Don't look at her. I merely use it to predict loading. Yeah, no, it's fine. I don't bother because, like I said, I've had loading even when there's nothing new I can possibly get, and it just was a total debate. Nightingale and John before getting 4 copies of Burrito, all within 300 Sancors. Nice. No, never mind. That's not nice. I didn't mean that. I know if I say nice, I know what's gonna happen. Where do you want us to look, her tits? No, you look at my tits, okay? When are you gonna learn, chat? My eyes are down there. The nothing was new. I know. To me, everything new has loading, but not every loading is a new thing. Yeah. That is the truth. Saw it in our peripheral vision, I see. Cad, in that armor, you are sadly flat. Whoa. What? Like, chat, have you not seen me without my armor? I am not flat, okay? Flabby cat. I'm as stacked as Emiya in that regard. I wish IRL I was that stacked. Double-sided archer. Oh no. Oh, it's a Boobon. Yeah, I forgot the Boobon and the Barg Hest are on rate up in this. I don't think I need any more coins for them, but I'd have to double check. Ooh, gold orbs again. Oh, I said the magic name. There she is. Bro really said, look at my tits. I did. Well, that reminds me. Let me change the camera here because Doge Cam was not pointed at the Doges. It was just like off in BFE. There we go. Now it's set. That is not a bad roll, at least. Got 2 4-stars off of that. Open my 10 boxes. Yeah, it's always nice to get the first 10 open, just so that one, any rolls that you might need to do are 100 from then on out. Plus, it gets you, gold foes. It gets you the damage CE. So if you ever need any of that, it can help you out. At least you're farming coins. Yep. Ooh, Apex. Nice. Apex is a really nice craft essence. It's not like the best in the game or anything, but it's definitely one of the better ones. So it's a good one. If you guys did roll Britomart and you got an MLB, congratulations. Good luck on rolls. Thank you, Azure. How are you doing today? Bar guest, yes. Saberface bias. No. No, I'm basing it purely off the stats, not the fact that Morgan's on it. Like, I know it seems that way to you guys, right? But like, no, purely like, I won't call a craft essence good unless it actually is. There's way too many craft essences in the game, so I have to be a little bit discerning with that sort of stuff. And ignore all temptations of the mind. Exactly. Now, see, that on the other hand has great artwork. But that one's also a pretty decent one as long as you're looking for like a 4-star CE bomb. Star bomb CE. I'm doing pretty good. I'm definitely happy that it's the weekend. I didn't get that C in the rolls. I did, however, get a 4-star C. Well, if your rolls were good enough that you didn't see the 5-star because it happened so fast, that's, in its own way a blessing, right? Lee's challenge quest is hard. I haven't even attempted it yet. I don't remember what it is. I know I did it like on JP when it was the thing, but I have no idea what it is here. Okay, hold on, chat. I am just farming real fast here. Just scrounging up some quartz from some free quests. Huzzah! Yeah, I'll do the paidless single. If it'll reconnect. There we go. Okay, so paid single here just for Torax purposes. We got to throw off his count. It's free paid. I wish it were free. Honestly, I feel like that's something they should do with the story banner. I feel like they should give you a free single every day on the story banner. And that way people would see some incentive to, like actually touch that banner. Are you using the Japanese thingy with 5%? No. It's just because that's a display error because I had been logged into my my JP iTunes account. So that's why it was displaying yen. Bubon? The bubonic plague? Always making people question the one? Exactly. Clearing main quest should give you some kind of currency to roll story. If not, no one ever rolls there. I mean, clearing main quest does give you currency. Just it's generic currency. Like I gotta give FGO credit, okay? Because so many gotcha games are, how do I put this? They are manipulative with their currencies. They have multiple different gotcha currencies and they only work on certain things, and they all have like this shitty conversion rate that they're trying to get you to spend money on. FGO just has two. It literally has quartz and tickets, and they are the exact fucking same. And they work on everything. And I'm like, it's actually really nice. And I think that's something a lot of people overlook if they're comparing systems, is just that like FGO doesn't do anything scummy with its currency. It's just, it is what it is type deal. Yeah, I guess technically there's fragments, but fragments just convert into the bigger one, right? Convoluted to trick you, yeah. One pull equals 154.6 pull currency type of nonsense. Yeah. Well, no, it'll be like, let's say like let's say like do a multi, like let's use FGO, right? Doing a multi is like 30 like 30 quartz, and it's like, oh, you buy a pack, but the pack is always like 28. And you're like, bro, what the fuck? Free quartz summons and paid quartz GSSR. Yeah, they do that, but that's more just like, and I'm dead serious on this. If GSSRs didn't exist, I think you would have never seen the paidless single, and I think basically you would just never have had this concept of paid quartz. Like the only reason that got put into play is because they were like, well, if we're gonna do a GSSR, let's at least make it a paid amount. And I think that's why they started doing that. Hello, Ice. Yeah, friend points. I guess friend points are another currency. They just, I don't know. Friend points to me don't feel like proper gotcha currency, I guess, right? Like, because it's just the 3-star and lower stuff. Totally worth it, in my opinion. Oh, yeah. Archer again. Wow. It is raining boobons. Aiming for 120 boxes? Why stop there? Let's multiply that by a magnitude of 10. It is raining boobons. Wow. This literally is the bubonic plague. I just remembered I hadn't made Holy Grails this month. I haven't on NA, I have on JP. My JP Grail casting's already done because that one takes time. My NA one doesn't take any time, so because I just have the coins already built up. Nice Balbon's now broken and JP just gotta wait 2 years. Oh, my Balbon's already like in P5. This is just like potentially for coins, I guess, at this point. Like for like pins 4 and 5. Minos, thank you for the nice number of months. Appreciate it, my dude. Hope you're having a good one. Chat, can we get some love for Minos? Let me see some emote spam. Kind of want to roll for Burrito, but I need to save for Bride. Yeah. These are the sorts of things where it's like, it kind of sucks, especially if you're price conscious or just trying to be free to play, of like, you kind of got to pick and choose the ones you want to roll on. The good news is, since you know, like, basically every unit's going to get a banner every year at this point, like, you can kind of just like say, okay, I'm not going to roll here and now, and I'll wait and roll later, and I'll get another shot. As opposed to the way it used to be, where it was like, hey, I'll skip this banner. I'm sure they'll have another one, and then the unit doesn't get another banner for 4 years. Even the lowest rarity of servants and welfares can be extremely good. Oh yeah, that's, I've said that before too, because like I've seen other games where I think it's like Epic 7, right? Where like your lower units are fodder and you just feed them to the greater units. As opposed to like FGO here, where your lower units are actually like good in their own right. They're not like the best unit in the game usually, but it's like if you use them appropriately, they can be really nice. And that's why like people ask me all the time, like, hey Cad, do you think they'll ever allow us to take all 5 stars into a party comp? I'm like, no, they will never allow that. And the answer for why is because if they do, it wrecks the economy of the game. It wrecks there being any need to ever use a low star unit, right? The whole reason you need to use low star units is because you're on a budget somehow. Usually due to party constraints where your party cost is just too much and you need to get away with using something lesser. And that's, I think it's genius. I think it's a great design and I think it works really, really well. I think the only issue I have with it at the current point in time is we're getting to a point where, like, you know, again with like 90 plus plus and even like 90 star nodes, using 1 stars is very non-viable for that sort of content. Again, you don't have to do it necessarily, but I do think like that's something they need to look into is the relative performance of all units in the higher difficulty of content. Seriously, 4 years to MP2 by Lancer Keo? Yep. Draco didn't get a banner for almost 18 months and Arc was about 2 years. Yeah, but they're the most, right? So that's not too bad considering the way things used to be. Miss Crane team. Yeah. Well, I mean, you see it all the time too. One of the things, you know, like I talked about with like the Summer Kuro comps that became a thing when she came out was like, you have such a cost issue trying to run some of that stuff that like between that and the like cumbersomeness of the composition, yeah, it's there. It is an option. Most people will not run it. Same thing with like sometimes you'll see it with like the Chen Gong comps and stuff like that too, where they are either way too many button presses and too annoying to try and pull off for a lot of people, or again it becomes a party cost issue, which I know he's a 2-star, but it's like you're often trying to like ram your like 5-star supports in alongside him and stuff. Really need some more gimmicky low star units. I mean, I feel like we have a lot in that regard, but I won't object to getting more low star units. I do think the game could use a like fresh injection of them. The last time we really got a bunch was like, what was it, like back at like Annie 4 or something like that. So they kind of have not done a whole lot on the low star end, but kind of makes sense if you think about it, right? Because like low star units don't sell by nature, so. When we're pretty cost and we can run the full summer Kuro comp with a 4-star DPS, right? I mean, you can run that right now. The issue at play is just like if you're having to take like a bunch of 5-star Cs, that can be a problem. So, Annie 5? No, I don't think it was Annie 5. Was it? I think it was the year before Castoria. But maybe I'm misremembering. I need more low stars because I'm running out of units to bond. I had that problem earlier today where I went to filter by my 2-stars because I was like, oh, I can fit a 2-star in my back line. Let me find one to bond. Filter by 2-stars. I'm like, oh shit, they're all bond 10 and I don't want to use a bond grail on them. So I was like, well, back to the 1-stars then. And almost all of my 1-stars are bond 10. I think the only one that I have left is the one that's currently in my back line, which is oh shit, what's her name? Fossil Lancer girl. Why is the name escaping me? Mary Anning? Yeah, Mary Anning. Yep, Saber fan girl. Yeah, I don't know why. Like my brain was just having a fart there and could not actually like remember. Mary Edging, yes. But Cad, you grailed her. Yes, I know. Cad's spirit animal, yeah. But yeah, like she's the last one I have to bottom 10. After that, I don't know what to do. Gold orbs again. At least we're getting a decent servant rate, but that early Shez spook is kind of oof. As it's looking like we're gonna be in for a bit here, waiting on a 5-star. Rather choose 2 5-stars and 1 support 5-star. Yeah, it's just, party structure and team cost are always something that I think the devs are really looking at. And this is why, like we can go back and see like, okay, oh, double-sided Lancer. Maybe. Hey, there we go. Okay. At least we got the first copy there. Now we have no pity to protect us. Oh, was that 241? That's not too bad. Could certainly be worse. Just join the stream. What are we summoning for? Britomart. Figured that's a good idea. What MP level am I going for? I haven't really decided. I just said I'd let the gacha decide. I like the echo effect. Damn, that was really short for a summoning line in current year. Like, normally that is not a thing. Okay. Deeper. Mukiwara, thank you for the 5 months. Appreciate it. Just came in and see you get her, so you're my good luck charm. But chat, can we get some love for Mukiwara? Told her you would get her before 300. I know. It's because you stopped reminding me. So I forgot. It's the armor. She can't breathe. Understandable. That's why she needs to strip, right? A fairy of little words. It's called being laconic, and there's nothing wrong with it, right? Like, just simple, curt replies to everything. You say the base minimum of, like, whatever it is you need to say. And where that terminology comes from is Sparta, which is great. I love the stories involving their laconicness. Because it's like, what was it? I think Alexander's father, Philip, was invading Greece, which he was from Macedonia, and he was invading Greece, and he was gonna like basically invade the Spartans. And I forget what happened, but it was like something to the effect of he sent them a threatening letter that they better stop like interfering in the war he was having, I think, with Athens. And he was basically like, you better stop, because if you don't, I'm going to come down there and beat you. And the Spartan king just replied, if. Which enraged him. So it's like, it's one of those great stories where it's just like, ah, yes, that's like the ultimate troll, just immediately like going straight to the point. Firefly before Firefly? Listen, Firefly was a ripoff of not only this character, but Samus Aran, right? That's fundamentally what they're after with that. And I'm not going to say that makes Firefly bad. I think that's probably why everyone likes her, right? It was if he invaded. Yeah, that's what it was. But yeah, that's one of the things I always like is those stories of like basically the Spartans' wit, because they were apparently infamous for it. Where it's like you would contact them and they would just not respond in the way that you would think they would, because Spartans just had a very different way of approaching and thinking about things. A lot of amazing short statements in their enemies and allies. Yeah. Okay, we just farmed up some more free Saint Courts. Song was dope. Eureka 7. It's been so long since I've seen Eureka 7. I think I watched it, like, chat, was it ever on Adult Swim? Because I'm pretty sure that's where I watched it. Like, all the way back in the day. But so it's like, I hardly remember it. Hope he rolls as well as Lotto boxing goes well. Thank you. Appreciate it. Hope so for you too. Adult Swim and Toonami. Yeah. Those are the good old days. Do they still have Toonami, chat? I thought they like shut it down. But that's how like my generation at least got hooked on like anime. And it's really funny to see that like since then it has really taken off in the West. Like I see people all the time that are like, oh my god, anime's mainstream now. And I'm like, it's not mainstream yet. Don't you dare. Cause like the litmus test for is something mainstream is if you can walk up to like a normie and talk about it and they don't immediately cringe at you. Like, so it's like it's gotten a lot more popular, but it is still a niche thing. Definitely more popular than it was, yeah. Oh, Alter Ego. Afternoon Ronin Warriors Gundam and DBZ. Yeah. Oh man, I forgot about Ronin Warriors. Sparta lost, so their mouth was bigger than their ability. Their mouth was bigger than their ability. However, it did not stop them from saying it. Like, they knew they were outnumbered. They knew they would probably lose. But damn it all to hell, they were still going to say it. Basically, they weren't going to sit there and cower in fear because they were Spartans. So they just responded in the way that they would. And that's the thing, is like, when you're sending a threatening letter to someone, you're expecting them to be like, oh god, they're threatening me, right? You can't threaten the Spartans. That's the message that sends. Like, if you're gonna do something about it, you just need to go do something about it. Don't speak to them. You know, use your actions, basically, not your words. That's what the Spartans really valued. Rainbow orbs out of nowhere, baby. But oh no. Where's Hera? Hera, I know you're here. The cursed wrongbow. That's actually fine. I was just looking at my Vlad earlier today, and my Vlad on NA is only in P3 somehow. So he's, I guess it's not an NP5 spook, so I'll take it. But Jesus, you're now 1 for 3 on SSRs. I can't really complain though, because it's all in like 300 courts, but second banner next week? I don't remember. You got it for looking at him? Probably. I remembered Vlad existed, and that was my problem. Exactly. I Sparta, so I cannot be threatened. Sure. Remember, Sparta. Actions speak louder than words. I don't have to threaten you. I can just punish. And if you're a true Spartan, you'll value that more. Banner 2 is Charlie and Cream. I think it comes out with that round. I don't think it's like it. Yeah, it might be next week because I think it'll be like when do we get round 2? Chat, isn't it gonna be like Sunday basically? It'll either be Sunday or Monday, somewhere right in there, I think. So it's like that's where you'll get the second banner in 3 days. Okay. The 90s had a lot of catchy cartoon intros, though. It was a requirement. Yeah, but I mean, like, that's what made them good. Like, you listen to some things nowadays, and you're like, holy shit, they just gave up. They just did whatever the hell they wanted to. They didn't make something that was designed to be, like, catchy and addictive. I won 1,200 Sancors for NP2 Burrito, and the gap between NP1 and NP2 was 1,000. Yep, sucks, doesn't it? I've also had similar crap happen like that. I don't wish that on anybody. Conan the Adventure's intro is an earworm. I don't know if I've ever heard that one. Speaking of intros, yep. This is the original though, right? Like, yeah, it is because it's for kids. I was gonna say, I tried to watch the reboot, but I could not fucking stand the squeaky sidekick character. Oh my god. Like, I've heard people say, like, oh, I love Shaman King, it's great. And I'm like, you know what? More power to you. It's just like, but I'm not watching it. Charlie Banner is November 11th. Bradamonte is November 12th. Bryn is November 15th. Sigurd is November 16th. And Kentucky is November 17th. Thank you. Appreciate that. '90s Spider-Man intro was nice. Spider-Man, Spider-Man. This is the 4Kids One Piece, isn't it? Yep. To me, this is worse than all of the other, like, One Piece openings. Like, maybe if you grew up with this is fine, but, like, to me, this just sounds worse than all the others. Spectacular Spider-Man's intro is so good. Was it like Spectacular Spider-Man? Spectacular Spider-Man? Does whatever a spectacular Spider-Man can? What about Spider-Pig? Spider-Pig is truly the best. It's cheesy, so I like it, and I never watched One Piece. I still would highly recommend, especially if you guys call yourselves an anime fan, trying out One Piece. I know. Oh, wow. There you go. There's another burrito. I'll take that. NP2. This SSR rate's pretty insane. The spook rate's shit, but I'll take more SSRs. Yeah. See, now the question is, do I go like, hey, this is a pretty good rate, I'll keep going and see if I can get NP3, or is this the point that I stop because it's about to get a whole lot worse? I feel like testing it, but I'm current with the manga and anime of One Piece. I am not. I am behind. I am somewhere like just at the beginning of Whole Cake Island's arc. Drop I needed MLB, nice. I mean, we're lucky so far. Yeah, I can't really complain. The servant rate in general has just been good off this banner. Never quitting before making it big, SMH. Listen, you say that, Rainbow, but I have absolutely kept rolling and gotten boned by it. We saw what happened the last time you tempted greed. See? You have 6 months to catch up? I think I have longer than that. I'm behind by like 2 years at least. There's a lot of peak ahead of you then. Yeah, like so what happened is I was like 100% up to date and went week to week when the entirety of One Piece was going through Dressrosa. And I fucking hated it. Like, I like Dressrosa as an arc, but oh my god, it dragged on way too fucking long. It had 20 extra episodes it didn't need to have after the main villain was defeated. So, like, it was at that point that I was just like, no, I'm taking a break from One Piece. I'm going to let it build up, and that way I can just bull rush it and not have to, like, go through this process of, like, oh, yeah, I just don't get to see half the cast for, like, 5 years. Oh, gold orbs again. Lancer again. The Temptation. Ah, this is payback for the wrong bow. All right, chat, we keep going. It was longer for us manga readers. Listen, it doesn't need to be a dick measuring contest. It was awful on both ends. The point being is that's what made me decide, like, I'm just going to let One Piece build up, and then I can choose to binge it and stuff like that. So, like, that's kind of what I've done, is, like, One Piece is, like, 200 plus episodes ahead of me at this point, so I'm just like, oh, sweet. Like, I have plenty of time that I can, like, you know, like, I can basically just watch the entire next arc, stop there, let it build up again, and just, like, keep going like that. Really did drag out sometimes. Yeah, like, I don't think like the story is bad or anything like that. It's just the pacing seemingly went on forever. I get that he wanted to tell an epic tale and yada 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 yada, but like, no, I'm good, right? Is it gonna come back? There it is. I don't know why the capture card feels like it takes forever sometimes to connect. The pacing gets worse in the next arc. Well, then, I mean, you're just like cementing my decision to let it build up, right? Like, because that's again, like I said, like I just didn't want to get to the point where it's like, oh my god, this is just dragging on, and going week to week is painful. They seem to increase the luck people have pulling in gacha games. Good. Because my Mount Nobu rolls were, well, chat knows. Chat knows. Wano is longer, but seemed more entertaining to me. I really want to get to the Wano arc. I've heard the Wano arc is good, so. Have you watched One Piece? I heard it's a better version. As opposed to, like, I read the manga, Oh, Apex again, finally. It's actually been a while since we've seen another one of those. I read the manga through, like, the 2-year gap and, like, into some of the new world, but then like I basically stopped reading the manga and just went week to week on the anime. That's why I binge. I can't wait week to week for the next episode. I can do that with like normal seasonal anime, but I can't do that with something long running, right? Like if I'm gonna watch something long running, it needs to either already be done or so far ahead of me that I'm not gonna like catch it anytime soon. I recommend trying the upcoming remake. Supposed to streamline it better. Yeah, I'm gonna be curious to see how that is, because like a little bit, one of the things that's really nice about One Piece is that it really does develop its characters well, and it needs those episodes to do that. Don't get me wrong, One Piece pads the fuck out of its episodes, but like each episode you could basically argue is like 15 minutes instead of the normal like 22, 23. But again, like besides those padded like 6 to 7 minutes, like all of it's pretty well jam packed. I don't feel like, at least normally, I don't feel like One Piece stalls out like fights and stuff too long. It definitely did in like Dressrosa and stuff, and I'm sure it probably will here in the future a little bit, but at least historically I felt like that was not the case too bad. Of course Netflix is doing it from the start again. They want to make money off. That being said, I do like the Netflix series. I think it's pretty well done for what it is. It's not like perfect, but given the fact that like the author himself is actually involved in it, it seems to be like one of the best like live action adaptations that Netflix has gotten. So I got to give them credit for that. Is this back-to-back Barcasts? Oh my God! Look at how slender that Barcast is. And Korean at that. It's Korean Barcast. Actually, he's not Korean. He's Japanese, but I always joke that he looks like a K-pop guy. I would disagree with that, Peepo, but only because like the no double servant restriction is rarely ever a thing. So it's like you're saying it does more to restrict you, and I'm like, it doesn't really, because you're restricted every single time you take a team to a node due to party cost, but you rarely ever have the no double servant restriction. Don't get me wrong, I understand why people don't want it, but I'm gonna just be real with you. That's exactly why they need to keep it. Right? Like you just won't use a low star unit ever. And meanwhile, if you actually have it, you will have that incentive to do so. Is it weird that the 90 plus plus is easier for me than the 90 plus? No, I mean, I think that depends on like basically what, you have. Like if you have like really good solid lancers, like for instance, I think a lot of people at this point have Mel, and Mel is just OP as dicks. So it's like if you have her, that 90 plus is not going to be that, or sorry, that plus plus not going to be that hard. Meanwhile, the 90 plus, totally different class. So again, it just kind of depends on what you're trying to do. Plus plus angers me because it allows whales to farm better than others. Yeah, I mean, I've seen both sides of that argument, because I've seen people argue that like there should be a reason to have NP5s in the game. I understand that point. I'm not sure I agree with it, right? Because like, while I can understand that people want a reason to have the NP5, at the same time, I feel like, yeah, like all that does is just like basically class out the people that don't spend money on the game. So I'm not sure it's a good thing. Like I've always felt like whales have the advantage in farming anyways, because if you go all the way back to like say the beginning of FGO, some of the most prominent farming comps you would see free to plays run were waiver comps. Some of the most prominent comps that you would see whales run were triple K scope comps. So like whales just naturally had the advantage on speed and capability. That has never changed. But yeah, I do feel like it's a sort of scummy way to incentivize people rolling more. And I'm not sure I'm the biggest fan of that, right? Like to me, 90 plus plus and the way that they have handled the coin system are arguably like the worst things that they've done for the game in general. I actually prefer something like 90 star and its concept a little bit more than 90 plus plus. Because at least Star is saying, hey, we want you to take the right class to this node rather than just trying to like brute force it with a super powered like neutral looper or something like that. But I still feel like they have the balance wrong on those. I still feel like if they're going to do something like the star nodes and they're going to have a class advantage modifier, either the modifier needs to be stronger if they're going to keep it at that type of health, or they need to pull the health back a little bit. The problem with pulling the health back is then, yeah, you're going to see people try to brute force it still. So I think they just need to go in and they need to tweak the modifier for it. No way I'm NP5 any meta. Yeah, and that's like I said, I don't think people should have to do it that way because prior to 90 plus plus, and I you guys can remember if you've been on the channel long enough that like one of my mantras about this game was that this game was so free to play friendly that you could do just about everything with an NP1. It was only when we started to get to plus plus content where I felt like that was no longer true. And a lot of that basically boiled down to, again, there are some of these plus plus nodes where you don't have a damage CE. There are some of the nodes like, again, with the upcoming Charlie one where it's like even like trying to do it in an efficient way is difficult and annoying. So it's only with like that level of content that I've ever really felt like they kind of attacked that idea. And I don't think that's good for them. I think they really should have a game that can be played at NP1, but if you have a higher NP level, for instance, it just gets easier, or it's just allowing you to be able to like form a more simple comp, right? I think that's good design, good balance. That way it gives the whales a little bit of a reason to do so and they can stretch their legs, but it's not getting rid of the like ability for the free to plays to kind of function in the same way. And the only reason that I say there is that difference right now is because you can do a 90 plus plus node at NP1, but it's going to require a damage CE or a damage bonus unit from the event. Meanwhile, the whale sitting there with like the NP5 level 120 unit is going to go, ahaha, I'm now running this 6 slot. So I am now just more efficient than you. And not in the terms of like, I have a simpler comp, I take less time. No, in the terms of like, I actually get more out of this node than you do. So yeah, I agree with you in that regard. I don't think that's a good design, and I don't like the way they have handled that. You care about what Matt drops, the 90 plus plus, more than you care about how much extra event currency you get. I think some people care about the extra event currency more, but yeah, I'm personally someone that cares a little bit more about the material drop, and there's an obvious reason why. I've been around the block long enough to know that the actual like ascension materials are the final end game, right? Like they are what ultimately will be your goal once you get past the issues of like skill gems, embers, QP, statues. Like once you get past all of that, ascension materials are eternal. You will never end them unless you go like hard and grind the crap out of stuff. Ibuki can't easily 6 slot here. She still requires a lot. Yep. It's just disheartening because I finally got MP2 Gajuna this year, and I thought now I can really do cool farms, and he still can't do it. But units like Summer Ibuki can do it easily. It's still like, don't get me wrong, right? It's still going to require, like robust MP levels to be able to function well with Summer Ibuki. But yeah, it is a thing. It is a thing, and that's one of the reasons. Like when they came out with Summer Ibuki, to me they fucked up. And I don't mean they fucked up in the sense of like they gave her a charge skill. That's fine. Archer? Bubonic plague. They fucked up in the sense that if they're gonna make an arts looping unit and give them 50% charge, the unit should not also be like a top damage dealer. Right? Like think about that. When you think about like units, back in the early days of FGO that had a lot of charge. Medea, Nido Chris, right? Like these units did not do good damage. They were useful because of how much charge they gave, but they were not the top damage dealers of their class. And that was because they were, again, designed to be a lesser damage variant so that you'd have this trade-off of damage versus charge. Now, part of this issue comes from the evolution of compositions in this game. We now have units that can touch MLB Black Grail and still manage to 3-turn with it, whereas we didn't before. So now all of a sudden, more charge equals more damage, as it always has, but you reach a point where there is basically no trade-off anymore. There is no penalty for having the charge. That is to say, we used to reduce units damage that had more charge, usually because they could touch a better craft essence and things evened out. But now we have it where it's like, oh, well, those units can touch Black Grail, and these other units over here that don't have as much charge can't, so their damage is inherently worse. So I understand the problem that they have, and that problem is that, okay, well, what if you upgrade the unit in the future? You can't just boost its damage while it can't touch Black Grail, because it might be able to touch it in the future. So I think they're caught between a rock and a hard place in that kind of like window of design there. But yes, oh baby, fuck yes. That is my first Mud Rain on NA. I was just looking to see if I had one earlier today. Hopefully I get more of those to come. I definitely want that CEMLB. That is low-key the best thing I've rolled this entire banner. But yeah, like I think that's kind of what got lost, because you started to see units like Melisson, right? And Melisson, her damage, if you look at her like raw numbers compared to someone else's raw numbers, Melisson's numbers are actually not that good. So what makes a Melisson strong? Well, she has so much charge that she can Black Grail loop. That means she gets to touch Black Grail where maybe other units don't. That's going to really boost her damage. But that's not the only way in which they fucked up with Mel. They fucked up with Mel because they also made it where she has a stacking overcharge damage upgrade, where she literally just gets more Buster up for 3 turns every time she NPs. So that causes a problem because now she gets stronger as she loops. So you have scaling, you have Black Grail, and then in comes Oberon and starts just making things even more insane. And all of a sudden, you've got the recipe for disaster. You've got a unit that was probably designed initially to not do the most damage in her class, that is doing so much damage that she is doubling some of what the other SSRs can do. That's an issue. Like, no matter how you want to look at that. So the only way to resolve such an issue is to buff the other units, because we know they're not going to nerf. So this is where, like, yeah, I can look back at that and I can go, I'm not sure they really, like, thought about that too well. I'm not sure they actually understood how everything was going to interact, because I think if they did, they would have realized, wait, whoa, hold on. We didn't just make a good unit. we made a unit that is heads and tails above every other option in the class, to the point that, again, when Melisson comes out and Oberon shortly thereafter, she is immediately almost double every other unit in her class in terms of raw firepower. And it's like, wow, right? Like, that's not just an upgrade. That is, you fucked up. You broke something at that point, right? And I can say the same thing about Oberon in particular. He's part of the genesis of how all of that happened. It's what makes Oberon strong is certainly his 70%, but that's not really what makes him broken. What makes Oberon broken is that third skill. And you guys remember when Oberon was first getting teased coming into the game in LB6, I made a video when he was out there on JP side of things, kind of talking about how Oberon was going to change the game. And that was back when we only knew that he was going to be a 70% charge unit, the game's first 70% charge unit. That already alone was going to make waves. And then they gave him the third skill. And the third skill just like blew the top off of everything. So it's like, I can't believe still to this day that they did that. It's one of the, like, I think if they could have one take back, that might be it. Like, it might actually be, hey, let's not do that third skill. Because, like, you can look at something like Castoria, right? And you can see that it's like, yeah, hey, that maybe causes problems having solemn defense. But the reality is the community largely appreciated that change. And it's a good thing from the community's eyes. And even then, they clearly, as we have seen, have ways of dealing with that, including the most recent welfare on JP. Oberon? You have no solution to Oberon's issue. There is nothing the devs can do to try to stop Oberon from just grossly magnifying every unit in the game's damage. So like I said, I think that's the one where if they could have one take back, that would be the one that they would do. They would undo either the third skill entirely or at least tweak the values so that it's not scaling nearly as much. Every damned unit in LB6 is busted one way or another. Yeah. And like, I don't mean to make this all about Oberon, right? Just that's one where I, like, still to this day, I'm just like, wow, I'm actually surprised that they thought those numbers were acceptable. But yeah, I think, like, as we start to look at this, the general problem is just the sheer scaling and design of some of the units. So they have their work cut out for them. It, like, for instance, let's say, like, here with Britomart. Britomart has a really nice design. I'm rolling for Britomart, right? But you're only going to roll for Britomart if you really like her design. You're not rolling Britomart for gameplay. Because if you're rolling anything for gameplay in the Lancer class, it's Melisson. And we all know that. So that's the issue they have moving forward. How do you release a new AoE Lancer after Melisson? Are you going to make something more OP than Mel? That's the problem that they have. They have to sit there and they have to, like, kind of look at that and go like, oh, fuck, right? So kind of what they have to do is they're going to have to, like, pick up the stragglers and move them approximately up to Melisson's level. We already saw them do that kind of with Erish, right? You're going to have to see them do this with some of the other units as well. So it's a problem of when you make a unit too strong that it's such an outlier, the only way that you can, like, actually sell new units are A, they're extremely attractive, or B, they are performing at the same level as that, like, outlier. Otherwise, everyone's going to do exactly what we see the community do. Why are you rolling for that character when this character exists? Like, that is a comment that I see all the time. Where a lot of that's like people trying to peer pressure each other and trying to browbeat each other. But the reality there is it is an effective argument for some people. So it becomes difficult, I think, if you're the developer and you're trying to push a new unit to your community and everyone's just going, that unit's crap. Like a classic example I can give you guys of this is like, okay, y'all remember when Moriarty came out? What were people saying about Moriarty? Not Moriarty Archer, sorry, Moriarty Ruler. Like when Moriarty Ruler came out, how did people react to him? Yeah, I saw people claiming he was trash. I saw people saying my Space Ishtar does more. I saw people saying Summer Mellison is coming, like later on when he came to NA. So it's like, that's the reaction that people have when all of a sudden the character isn't the most attractive character, and then the gameplay isn't as good as some of the other options. And he's still a perfectly fine unit. Like, he's not really got any issues. But the problem is people can't help but compare. And that's going to cause, problems trying to sell the unit. I got called a Moriarty simp for defending him. Yeah. And that's the thing. It's like those people will call you a simp because you defended him, right? But the reality is they're just extremely biased, pushy people is all it is. Like, I get someone being like, hey, yeah, but this unit's better. If you have a logical point to make, that's fine. But the problem is those people can't help but be like, no, you're making the wrong choice, right? Like, it's one thing for you to, or it's one thing for like basically them to say, hey, this other unit is better. I think you should check that out. And it's another thing for them to like get angry because you're still choosing to roll the unit anyways. Summer Musashi is the best AoE archer confirmed. I think they went a little bit overboard with Summer Musashi's like saber niche there, but I don't think they went overboard with Summer Musashi's damage, which I think is the real reason people are peeved about Summer Musashi. I think a lot of the people that get peeved about Summer Musashi are the Ibuki fans, and they're really butthurt over the fact that suddenly Ibuki got one-upped in damage. Because, and I get this, right? But I saw people basically like treat her like she was God and basically be like, you everybody has to roll Ibuki. And the second that buff came out, people mauled it. People got really fucking upset over that. Yep, Bargu. The issue in their case is that I tend to throw numbers at them to make my point clear. Yeah, and people don't like when you use like facts and logic against them because they're making an emotional argument and they get deeply upset. And they feel like you've attacked their emotions. But like, again, it is the truth. It's like you're sitting there being like, no, look, hey, his performance is actually fine. But their point is he's a trash unit. Don't roll him. And that's the issue right there. You're proving that he's not trash. They're trying to push the agenda of he's trash because they're trying to like, stump for their favorite unit. Cad, I'm upset. I see. Understandable. Why are you upset? What the fuck is this multi? I'll take it. How many bow bonds have I gotten so far? Quite a bit. Was that the 6th one or the 5th one? Well, simp for the twink gilf. Hey, whatever floats your goat, okay? But yeah, no, like I've never really understood that. People getting upset over like people rolling units. And like there are certain units like Ibuki, like Mellison, where there is a confluence of this unit is strong and this unit is popular. And that's usually where the issue lies, is when a unit is both strong and popular. That's kind of what makes the community be assholes to each other. Because like you see so many people basically brigading each other and being like, no, you have to roll this unit. This unit's so good and stuff like that. So, and I'm not like saying those two units are like evil or something like that. This is a community issue in general and how people act. So like it's not the first time, nor will it be the last time that sort of thing happens. And it only gets worse when Kukulkan comes out next year. Oh yeah, yeah. Like I'll be rolling Kukulkan. I'll be singing her praises and how good she is. But like you don't have to roll her. There's nothing that says like you must roll a Kukulkan or you will be cursed forevermore. You will have the curse of Montezuma. Whenever you drink the water, you will shit yourself. How dare you use facts? I didn't get a degree in logic and philosophy just for you to win an argument about gotcha using logic on me. In general, like, you can get even more baser than that and say, like the issue in general is just, like, people don't like to be proven wrong, right? But it's also why you have to be careful with what you say and make arguments based off of, like, based off of conjecture and open-endedness rather than like, you know, this is the way it is, right? Like, so if I'm making an argument for something and I'm unsure, I'll say I think, I'll say maybe, like I'll use certain words to indicate that like I'm leaving the possibility open that I might be wrong because I don't know if I'm right, as opposed to making an argument where I know I'm right and I actually have like data to back that up, right? But yeah, people are way too quick nowadays to assert like I am right, like 100%, even though this is based purely off how I feel. They still refuse to add Draco to the GSSR. Yeah, I suspect that's probably going to be a thing for like your beasts in general. I don't know what their overall goal is other than I think they want to keep the beasts relatively rare. And like FGO over the years has a history of that, of like kind of holding a unit or two hostage because they want them to be rarer. They're trying to like create FOMO basically. So it's like, I don't like it either, but it's just kind of what they do, unfortunately. Sadly, most people adjust facts to fit their opinion rather than the other way around. See, I don't think that's that sad, really. Like, I think it's sad if you're making shit up, right? But I do think, like, for any rational discourse, there are usually two opposing sides, and technically each side should have facts to back up their opinion and why they feel that way. Like, this is just, like, the rule of, like, humanity in general, right? Like, basically, humanity will never agree on everything because we all have different upbringings and different backgrounds. We've all experienced different things. We're all a product of those experiences. So, like, yeah, that can be a thing. But it's one thing to be like, hey, I have facts, and the other person be like, hey, I have facts. And it's another thing to be like, hey, I have facts, and the other person's like, fuck it, I'm a lie and make this shit up to make it seem like I do, right? I think that's the unfortunate discourse we have a lot, is because people just refuse to be wrong and can't admit when they're wrong. They basically, people are grown children is what it amounts to. They're not willing to admit that they're wrong. They're not willing to apologize. I love this, right? So you see people nowadays and they'll be like, never apologize. Apologizing is weakness. I love that statement because it could not be more wrong. If apologizing is weakness, why does no one do it? Why is it so fucking hard for people to do? Apologizing takes strength. And that's the truth of the matter, especially if you really mean it, right? It can be difficult to apologize. My sources, I made it the fuck up. The memes, Jack. Because who is better for farming, Cuckoo or Tiamon? And how is Durga? I'm a Sakura-sim. Okay, yeah. So like, let's break that down. How is Cuckoo for farming? Cuckoo's fantastic. How's Tiamon for farming? Tiamon's fantastic. Why do you need to compare the two? Because they're different classes. They're both Buster, but that's kind of where the similarities end. And I really do kind of mean this because a little bit at the end of the day, I think there's going to be a couple people that want that comparison because they are close together relatively with like roles. So people are going to try to make a decision. But ultimately, at the end of the day, unless you're just looking at them both as a Buster quote unquote neutral looper, that's really like they are completely different classes and like what they actually bring to the table, right? So to me, you can go with whichever one you like. They're both exceedingly strong, even from a neutral standpoint. There have been times where, so like I have Kukulkan on JP, I don't have Tiamat. There have been times where I wished I had Tiamat. But I can tell you that I've used Kukulkan and she's been my go-to solution for several things as well. So I can also say that if I didn't have Kukulkan, I probably would have regretted and wanted Kukulkan. So I think there's situations where both are going to be like needed and or useful and you'll really enjoy having them. There is that trade-off, but it doesn't mean that you can't find another solution to that, right? So which one's better? It doesn't actually matter. It's just going to come down to, you know, who you can get your hands on and who you desire more. Durga's performance is really good, AoE archer wise. It's not the best. That's Gil at this point, or again, if you want to be like really, really sarcastic, Musashi. But yeah, like Durga's still going to be really, really solid. To me, she does better damage than Jarcher and Zenobia. And at that point, given that she does have pretty good refund and charge, I don't see an issue with her. Like if you were debating between getting Durga, getting Jarcher, or getting Zenobia, the answer is technically Durga, but I think like there's an argument to be made for Zenobia, which is that she's a 4-star and she's permanent. But outside of that, Jarcher is in need of an NP interlude. She's still her refund is still the best of those three, but she definitely needs like that NP interlude at this point to kind of be able to hang with someone like Durga. Another drop, nice. What made you roll for cute silver-haired elf? Elf with big tits. Also mech. So like Samus. Like they call it a mech. It's a mech, but it's not a mech. To me, it's more like a mechanized bodysuit rather than an actual mech, right? So very much like Samus's suit. Power armor, yeah. He's the bone of his sword after all. Oh, Noli boy, thank you for the 5 gifted. Yeah, can we get some love for Noli? And if you guys were one of the lucky ones to get a gift from him, make sure you guys give him some love. A mech suit, if you will, yeah. But like to me, mechs are normally bigger, right? Like they're normally bigger than your average human, and not like by a foot or two, right? Because if that's the case, you could technically say the Master Chief is a mech pilot, right? Like, so to me, there's a difference between like a bodysuit, like power armor, aka, and like, you know, a full blown like mech that's like, you know, multiple stories tall. Dodging subs the way LaSingle dodges Summer Drake. Yeah. Yeah. Really wish they would give us a Summer Drake. Love her on my JP account, but I must save St. Courts if I want to roll both Cuckoo and Tiamat. I mean, look, this won't be her only banner. You guys will get other opportunities to roll for her if you want. Pizza the Hut. Our brains are the pilot of a fleshy meat suit. You're not wrong, but I hate that you're not wrong. Apex C is pretty nice constellation. Oh yeah, like I said, Apex is a pretty solid C. Which actually, I have no idea how many Apexes I've gotten. I need to check. I think I have like at like 2 or 3. Spaceballs is an underrated masterpiece. I can't even call it underrated. Spaceballs is just a masterpiece. I think there's a lot of people out there that know that like how good it is. Even if you don't like Star Wars or Star Trek, it will still be amazing to you to watch because it'll just be fucking hilarious. Like doubly so if you don't like Star Wars or Star Trek. Like you actively dislike them. Because that's all it does is make fun of them. We break for no one. Yes. I remember when I just started out and I was wondering who to get for the 5-star ticket and 4-star ticket. I ended up choosing Waver as the 5-star, but I chose Emmy as my 4-star to NP2 him. I mean, it's not a bad choice. I think if you were going to give me a choice between, speak of the Apex, and it shall appear, Rising Mud Rain. I think if I were going to have a choice between multiple 4-stars at that point, I would choose different ones. Just because, like, early on in an account, it's better to have more options because you don't have a lot of options, right? But yeah, there's nothing wrong with like making a unit more powerful and using them as a carry, especially early on. It will be even funnier for the haters of Star Wars and Star Trek. Well, I feel like it's more funny to the people that like it because they're more likely to get more of the jokes. But it will be, yeah, I do agree. It's like there will be a level of like, this is great because it's making fun of the thing I dislike. Plus, in general, Spaceballs is one hell of a good spoof movie. Yeah, it's just like, honestly, like Mel Brooks's movies are just the best spoof movies, like pretty much ever that I've seen. Like you know, you might like watch something like Scary Movie and like that. They're pretty good as well. But like Mel Brooks's are just like they're almost to the point of like they're timeless. Like they're just fucking funny. And even if you don't get every reference, there we go. You will literally just like be laughing even still. They're just it's basically comedy disguised as a spoof, right? Rather than a spoof trying to be comical. I can always pick up Men in Tights and have a laugh. Exactly. I see your Schwartz is as big as mine. Looks down, looks up. I still like I quote Dark Helmet all the time. Like the haha fooled you. How many assholes we got on this ship anyways? Yo. Scary Movie is good. Scary Movie 2 is mixed bag. Scary Movie 3 sucked bad. I saw apparently the is it the Wayne brothers or whoever? Like they're back and they're gonna make another Scary Movie. So that's interesting because I saw they announced that like just a week or two ago. Baseball's Vulcan neck pinch, yes. No, you idiots, up here. Ugh. Theba. Oh, definitely enjoying the coins. I'll at least be prepared for when again like the fourth and fifth append come out. Funnily enough, I actually got Mudrain off this banner. Nice. No, sir, I didn't see you playing with your dolls again. Good. The raspberry. There's only one man who would dare give me the raspberry. Lone Star. Yeah, it's a movie that I can just infinitely quote because I've literally seen Spaceballs like over 20 times. And every time I watch it, it's still funny. Like, that's how you know it's good comedy, chat. How many comedies can you say that you have watched where it does not matter how many times you watch it, it's still funny? Like, there's definitely comedies that you can watch multiple times, but like, dear Lord, it's one of those where it's like, if you had to be locked in a room with a movie, that might be my movie. That's the stupidest password I've ever heard in my life. It's like what some kind of idiot would put on their luggage. 12345. That's what I have on my luggage. Spaceballs is at Princess Bride level? Yes. All the Austin Powers. I love the Austin Powers as well. They like they're pretty good because they just sit there and make fun of all the like Bond movies. And it's funny because I literally just linked this to Bob the other day. But it was a tweet I saw online and somebody did artwork and it was basically a spoof of the Austin Powers scene where he's like in the tent and the guards are sneaking up on him. And so it's like basically he's in the tent laying out like looking at the map and she's digging stuff out of the bag and the people are seeing it like from afar and they're like, oh god, what is this? So again, like it's Legend of Zelda, but it's the Austin Powers scene. And she pulls the sword out of the bag, but all they see is like the sword coming out of his ass. So it's just like, it's perfect. The Monty Python movies, I at least love Monty Python and the Quest for the Holy Grail. Life of Brian's pretty good as well. I'm trying to think of some of the other ones. Like, I'm not sure I've seen every Monty Python movie, but yeah, like I love basically the Quest for the Holy Grail. That one's just fucking amazing. The Meaning of Life. I don't remember if I've watched The Meaning of Life or not. I might have. Yes, the Holy Hand Grenade of Antioch. Baseballs reached a secret agreement with George Lucas that if they didn't make merchandise, they could copy as much as they want. Yeah, and I think that's awesome, right? Like, at least Lucas allowed them to do it. But you can see, like, that you can tell what Star Wars' focus always was again selling merchandise. So they didn't sell merchandise, and instead they just put a fucking line in the movie mocking them for selling merchandise. I used to watch repeatedly the 300 spoof movie, seeing Leonidas steal a car like in GTA, just to sing "I'm a Barbie Girl" is priceless. I saw that long ago. I haven't seen it in a long time. I probably do need to watch it again. Strange women lying in ponds distributing swords is no basis for a system of government. You're not my king. I didn't elect you. Biggest dickus. Is he still rolling? I had to hit up bathroom luck for another drop on MLB in the meantime. Damn, y'all pulling ahead of me. Max Balbon with MP2 upgrade. Fine. On second thought, let's not go to Camelot. 'Tis a silly place. Best spoof movie is still Kung Pao. I like Kung Pao as well. Kung Pao is one of those where like it's just great because it didn't like they took another movie and just dubbed over it. And then like green screened themselves into the movie. Did you know he's married? His wife's name is Incontinentia. Incontinentia buttocks. Wow, that's a lot of nuts. See, I told you. Like you guys are now getting to the core of like the movies that I have watched so much of. It wouldn't be half as funny if Brian was actually Jesus. Yeah. Ghost Stories dub goes hard. I haven't finished it, but I have watched like half of it. And it was good. You go this way, I'll go home. It was at that point I realized I fucked up. I could either A, do a spinning back kick flip and finish him off, or B, take the claw to the face. I'm serious, and don't call me Shirley. Chat, I feel like the well is beginning to run dry. How deep are we? We're at 971. We're at NP3 Burrito. I love the Princess Bride so much. I even pulled an Inigo Montoya. Hello, my name is Inigo Montoya. You killed my father. Prepare to die. To me, Inigo Montoya is literally the voice basis for the Khajiit in like Skyrim and the Elder Scrolls. Hello, my name is Inigo Montoya. You killed my father. Prepare to take my prickly barb. Khajiit has way. What sticks with me in ghost stories is the girl obsessed with Jesus. That's right. Will we get the pity update earlier or later? I have no idea. Khajiit has way. What is the Meaning of Life movie about? I have no clue. Surely not the meaning of life. Inigo Montoya has wares if you have coin. Will we get half AP storm pods during events early? I mean, you literally can't get it until we start the storm pods. Like NA doesn't have storm pods yet, but will we get it early? Probably not. I'll let you guess how much charge is missing. 4%. You are 4% short. I'm not a witch. I'm your wife. We shooting for NP5 Burrito? No, I think that's going to be it because we are now 900 courts deep and we've got NP3. We got a pretty good rate on the SSRs, but literally like the last like 500 courts there was nothing but 4 stars. So I think at this point this is good. This is a good return. From this day forward, I shall be known by the name Betty. See, chat, I told you I've watched these movies too much. I can literally read the line as you type it in the voice. Collection of skits on the theme rather than a proper story with an overarching plot. Yeah, that may be like I may have started to watch Meaning of Life and then just kind of stopped because it was just random. Does Mellison deal more damage with a level 100 Black Grail than an Event C? That depends. Are you using Oberon? If so, then yes. Well, maybe. Beware the song about big butts. He beats you up while he plays it. Well, that's just Wimp Low. We trained him wrong on purpose. As a joke. I am bleeding, therefore making me the victor. 99% of gacha players quit right before getting SSR doubles on their next multi. You know what? You're right. And that's exactly why I'm going to quit. Now, I mean, again, like that's a pretty good result. I'm okay with NP3. We don't have to like go more ape shit. The bigger problem I'm going to have is craft essences. Okay, sweet. We do have enough for MLB Apex at least. I was worried I wasn't going to have enough, but we did get like a ton there towards the end. Yeah, but Ash, you know what else feels good? Being a whale. Can't relate? I see. Not rolling till summer Melu, though Melu banner will be soon tempting. You're not going to be rolling for a long time then. You're not tempted by like Tiamat or Cuckoo? Or Nito Altar? Or Sussy Priest? I want them, but I have to be selective. Understandable. More power to you. Durga Durga. Yeah, I'll definitely MLB at least like 2 of these. I don't know if I'll bother to save the rest. One, because I'm just going to clear the shop and never use these Cs anyways. But 2 is because like I just don't know that I need more than like the 2 of them. This one's actually not that bad. It's Buster crit up by 30% at MLB. So at least as far as a 3-star CE goes, it's not the worst. I'll probably save like 3 of them. Life. Yeah, see, I've definitely heard this before. Is Drake? I see. Girl failure, Zerctoria. Zerctoria is very strong. I can definitely say, like, I don't feel like you really need to have both Draco and Zerctoria, but having both is certainly nice. And like, I have definitely not regretted rolling her. Like, the only reason you guys don't see me use her too much, I shit you not. Let me go to JP here real fast. Behold the reason that you guys don't see me use her very much. She is already Bond 11, knocking on the door to 12. Like, I got most of that done within 6 months of acquiring her. And it was literally just from using her on so many of the Storm Pod nodes. So I actively stopped using her to force myself to have some longevity with that unit because I was bonding the ever-loving piss out of her. Oh god, that is a lot of servants. Okay. Oh no, wait, no. No. Never sell before you combine, chat. Never sell before you combine. Lottos are my bane when it comes to C's. Yeah. Yep, there you go. There is an NP4 Vlad. Let's see what my Shez is. Yep. Oh, it's an MP4 Shez as well. It's really funny how like some of these units I have not been spooked to NP5. Honestly, since they changed the rates, I don't get very many 5-star spooks. Like at the expense of like destroying myself with that comment. It like that's the truth though. Is like I really don't see them that often. That is a lot of bow bonds. Looking to see if there's anything else kind of baked in here that I needed more MP levels of. But doesn't look like it. Shouldn't have said that. I know, but like it's the truth. Like over the past couple of years, I have not seen a ton of 5-star spooks. Like I've probably had 2 or 3 banners over the last like 2 or 3 years worth of rolling, where I temporarily had more spooks than I had raid ups, and like even in this one like evened out. Let me check the coins for Barcast and Balbon too. I'm just curious because I want to see like how much I have. So 550? Yeah, that's bloop. That's free, baby. And Bargu? ¿Dónde está? Did I go by her? Am I blind? That's her. God, it's so hard to see sometimes. So, yeah, I only need 360, so that's also free. Remember to save coins for pen 4 and 5? Oh, I'm good. Like, and I've said this before, I'll say it again. The only issue that those two have, they're on so many banners that like you can't help but get coins for them almost naturally, because it's like you're just like sitting there trying to roll certain units, and then you just go like, oh, holy shit, right? You know what? I'll MLB another 4-star. I don't feel right burning that many. Well, not burning, but feeding. I think you have enough Babylon Sith. That is a really insane raid up, especially given it was a dual raid up, right? Whee! That's going to cap this CE out. Okay, that sucker's there. I need to get another CE bomb ready. It was Nightingale. I was rolling on Arjuna altar banner. Yeah, that's rough. Back when I was doing my main altar rolls, I got double Nightingale, double Vlad, and God, who is the other one? There's somebody else I got a double of. I literally had triple doubles basically, and it was awful. And like the thing I was upset about was not necessarily that I was getting spooked. It was that the units I were getting spooked by were units that at the time were not very good. Like back then, Vlad was in a very bad spot. So like it was one of those deals where it was just like, holy shit, could you at least give me a spook of like Ozzy, of Sanzang, of Jack the Ripper, something that was a little bit more useful. So that's why I was like beginning to mold at those rolls so bad. But it always sucks, you know. I obviously got wrongbowed, but that was not a true wrongbow. True wrongbow is you you get rainbow orbs. It is the correct class, but not the correct unit. That fucking hurts. That will always hurt. Like, because you're just like, oh my god, game, fuck off. Basically, like, you were so close to actually getting the unit, and then the game was like, ha, no. Okay, let's get to the grind finally. Again, this is my comp. Like I said, I got Mary Anning in the backline bonding. She's the only one of my 2-star and under units that isn't bond 10. So this is basically my composition. And it works. It's just pretty solid. Here's where my Chaldea battle uniform is. I got about 11 million left to go. That's not too bad. The real concern is this. My Lartoria is getting perilously close to Bond 14, which is at that point, then yeah, I just have the one more level left and she's max Bond. I know some people really like to Bond 15, their favorite unit, but I don't. And usually how a lot of people do it is they will like brute force it to like backline bond the unit. My Lartoria has never been backline bonded. So I have like 13 levels, almost 14 at this point, of just consistent, constant use and farming. Like, that is a ton of farming. That was me and Vlad Zerker on the Morgan banner. The blue and black had me believing for a second. Yeah, I've had something similar. I think I've had, was it Europa, where I had Drake show up, which at the time, like, I love Drake. She's one of my favorite characters, but at that time it was like, oh no, wait, that's not what oh, this is bad, actually. I didn't take an Oberon. Okay, hold on. How do I want to do this? Do it like that. I need that arts crit. Ah! Ah! Okay, this one's an actual scuff. I only had one way out of that, and that was the arts crit. And even still, this will probably not actually work. The good news is she won't be bricked. That is actually my first scuff today. I, like, in all of my farming, like, even at work, I did not scuff. All right, let me bust out the wallet. Damn, man. Oh, right. It's $6 to gift a sub now. You. Drunken Frog, enjoy your gift sub. And again, thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for enjoying my terrible suffering here. I'll match. Thank you. I appreciate that. You didn't have to. And Power, enjoy your sub. Make sure you thank Prophet. Warstone, thank you for the follow. And Unsupervised Pickle, thank you for the follow as well. Again, welcome to the stream, guys. If you're new here, my name's Khadroth. I usually stream FGO on weeknights. Occasionally, I'll mix in some variety and stuff. But yeah, pretty much just Just always covering this game in some way, shape, or form. Did I? Fuck! Oh, man. I did it again. Chat literally distracted me. Okay. Yeah, there may be a way that I can do this. Oof. It all went to the Buster card. Of course it did. Well, we're gonna pray. Oh, we got it. All right, there's a chance. There's a chance this is not a scuff. I think I literally need Lartoria's Buster cards on wave 3, though. Like, I don't think I can do it if either of her Buster cards shows up here. Oh, Pog! Hold on! Hold on! There's a chance! You know what? I'm going to pre-card as well and get those stars generated. Damn, look at that fucking quick damage. No chance. Oh, chat, just you wait. I have gotten myself out of many a scuff. I cannot believe that card luck. That was perfect fucking card luck. GG. Oh my god. Yes. All right, this time we're changing which thing that I go to. Bad fingers. There we go. Yeah, if you guys have MLB, do me a favor, toss it on your Oberon in the extra slot here. I will definitely take it right now. Want to take a third Koyan? No, I'm good. I'm good. Don't worry, one of these times I'll probably pick Summer Scotty, chat. But here, since chat was good sports about it, I'll give you guys the... To me, that's still kind of scuff anyways. Can't believe I did that shit twice in a row. And Azure, enjoy your sub, and Prophet, thank you for matching again. Numkey, enjoy your sub from Prophet. Lock in. Well, you see, I was born to dilly-dally, so that's kind of my problem, right? I've been forced to lock in, unfortunately. There we go. But yeah, this is a really, like, easy comp. It's not altogether that fast compared to the just standard double Koyan Oberon Lartoria run. Because that run actually has a variant where if I get one of Lartoria's Buster cards here in Wave 2, I just one-tap the enemy with the Buster crit, and then I don't have to press like 2 of the skills. So it's not only faster because I don't have to... Oh my god, fingers. I don't have to NP, it's also faster because I don't have to pop skills. So in that regard, I think that comp can actually be faster than this one. The difference is I'm not having to use my own Oberon here. The only units that are bonding are my Bryn, which is fine, my Lartoria, which is a concern, and then my Koyan of Dark, which is relatively unbonded still. So this is still pretty ideal bonding wise. I'm not having to bond my Oberon and Koyan because of this. Melt just one taps bear too. Oh, Melt Lancer. I was like sitting there thinking, I was like, wait, you took Melt? No, bad fingers. Bad. I tried to take Koyan again. What the hell is wrong with me? I don't know what's up with me. It's like force of habit, especially on stream. Almost got him, Peanut. Good try. Yep. I know, Fluffy and all, but no. Big floof tail. Thanks for the gift sub. Yeah, it's no problem. Like I said, I enjoy doing this because it encourages me to be more efficient and not fuck up as much. But then chat enjoys it because you guys get the gift if I fuck up. So you guys are always trying to make me fuck up. I'm so happy you can clear 90 plus reasonably this time. I'm making my way through the shop too. Nice. Yep. I've told you guys before, like, you know, when you do a lotto, especially when it's your first one, a lot of people feel bummed out because they can't farm it. Like, you see me and I'm just like plowing through nodes, and then you're trying to do it and you're like, man, this is rough for me, right? So I get that people get like bummed out because they can't be as efficient, they can't grind as much, but trust me when I say your first lotto's your worst, always. And like every lotto after that gets easier, and your account will continue to progress, and you will literally just keep doing better and better. And part of that comes from, again, that first lotto, you just don't have all the resources, you don't have all of your units leveled up and stuff like that. So you don't nearly have as many options, and things just aren't as easy for you to do. And then with each lotto, you open up more and more boxes, and you manage to actually get to a point where you can, you know, like sit there and actually have good options that are leveled up and skilled up and everything for you. So it's why, like, over time, you just get better and better at them. And that's why I said, like, it doesn't really come down to how many boxes you do in any given lotto. It literally is just about advancing your account. And as long as you're trying to advance, you'll be successful. What C do I need on Oberon? MLB of the Lotto C, if you guys have it. First Lotto's face carding was ass. Yeah. Like, I've seen people do like 7 and 9 turn clears of nodes in their first Lotto, and it's like, I feel that, because that's like the very first lotto that happened to me on JP when I started was about like 3 months after I had started, and it was pretty rough. Oh, that was a historically like low roll there for Bryn. I think it's the first time I've seen Lartoria have to card there at all. Six to 8 turning Gilfest. Yep. Yeah, sometimes it's even better to just like step down a node if you can't do the current node efficiently. Like, the only thing with these are, like, again, you want to at least be able to do like the 90 plus node with these, because that is like, hey, I just go run that node and it full clears the shop as long as I do it enough. So that's like, at minimum, you want to be able to do that. But yeah, you don't, again, you guys don't have to do the plus plus. There is no requirement basically for you guys to do that stuff. Like, I would do it the one time for clear completion if you're a newer account. But then after that, if you're more comfortable doing one of the lesser nodes, there's no problem with that. Like, your main priority are, like step one is get all of your craft essences out of the shop so you have more lotto efficiency. Step two is clear the shop by doing a 90 plus or plus plus node. And then step three is just focus purely on boxes. Like, that's it. Like, and honestly, if you're going to be doing enough refills, you don't have to like put event Cs on other than the Lotto C, because you'll probably just in the course of doing your farm for more boxes get enough to clear the shop. So. Very neutral towards 90 plus and plus plus. They both have mats I don't care about. The plus has eggs, and the plus plus has fairy dust. So that's like, Yeah, speaking of which, I told you guys I was going to look at that, so let me pop this open here real fast. Sorry, I'm just grinding behind the scenes. All right. Still need bells, but not dust. Oh, wait, no, I do still need some fairy dust. Wait, do I? Oh, no, wait, hold on. Subtract event. Never mind. Never mind. I don't need it. I do need eggs, though, by the same thing. So, like, you can see this is kind of about how much. So, let's go look at, I think it's item. And I'm not going to do this for very long, chat, so just bear with me here for a second. Okay. Scales of fantasy. Looks like I have 46 over, so that's not a whole lot. I'm sure I've gotten a bunch here, but let me check the eggs as well. Eggs 227. So I'm actually okay on eggs. So I should probably stay on the scales just for the extra like necessity of that. Another drop finally it's turning around. Yeah, I've been like I know I haven't been as efficient with my farm this time around, but my rate of CEs is kind of right now. But it just is what it is. I the more lottos you guys farm, the more you realize that like the drops will come eventually. And sometimes you have good RNG, sometimes you have bad. But like I see usually like every lotto, I see people bitching of like, oh my God, I'm just not getting any drops and stuff. But then a lot of the time it's like you find out they're actually not that far in and it's well within the realm of possibility for like where they're at. So it makes sense. I think part of the issue too is like when you see someone like me or like, you know, some of the people that are farming a ton and you keep hearing about how many drops they're getting, that you start to be like, whoa, why aren't I getting any? And the reality is they're practically like lapping you and they're farming that fucking much. And so that's why like every time you look over, they have a new drop, right? Got 6 drops within 8 boxes. Yeah, that's fucking nutty luck. Meanwhile, again, like I'm at like 30 boxes and I only have like 2 drops, right? So it is what it is. Like it's not crazy bad, but it is like kind of like on average basically. So I'm just not getting lucky is all it is. But as long as I keep farming, it'll come. I'm not worried about that. I'm less worried about like getting MLB of everything and more just like, hey, let me get to like my box goal, quote unquote. Which I'm thinking like this lotto, I'm gonna try to like aim for like 300-ish, and we'll kind of go from there. If I felt like getting to the 300 was relatively easy and I'm not burnt out, I'll maybe do the full 500. If I feel like I just don't care that much anymore because I have met all my goals and I want to stop, then that'll be what that'll be. Like a lot of that might depend on what like the JP event is that's coming up. If that ends up being like some big grindy affair, then that'll definitely like dampen my desire to grind on NA. How do you guys get through so many boxes so fast? Returns. Usually when you have a robust account, like getting through it is relatively easy. For someone like me as well, like I kind of know what I can do, and I wasted quite a bit of time trying to make a 6-slot comp work today that I probably shouldn't have against my better judgment. But like that's something that I'll do. Like I'll just sit there and I'll monkey around with stuff until I actually like manage to get everything kind of in line with what I want. But it's part of that comes from just knowing the units so well and knowing what will work and what won't. Been averaging a drop for every 10 runs? That's not bad at all. What the shit? That's insanely good. Because like at peak efficiency, it's normally a drop every at peak efficiency, it's normally a box every 3 runs or so. So you're basically saying that you're averaging a box like basically, averaging a drop like every 4 boxes. That's fucking nutty. I can tell you one of the ways I'm going to scuff, if I do, is going to be swapping Oberon and then accidentally tapping one of his skills. You're going to see probability streaks, both good and bad. Yep, it happens. Statistics is a bitch. Lotto luck is irrelevant because I always clean it before resetting, but I usually have bad luck for CE drops on nodes. Yeah, like I said, it happens. It's sometimes I've had good luck. I've also had a Lotto where I did 500 boxes, chat, and I did not get to maximum bonus until like 480. So it is what it is, right? Like, I have had like historically good and historically bad runs on this shit. And that's where, like, again, having the perspective of having that like experience just tells me, like, just be patient. It'll happen. It'll happen at some point or another. Don't be in a hurry. It's a marathon, not a sprint, right? Only have 40 runs, so luck can change. Oh, it'll change. Win some, lose some. Exactly. Yeah, I'll never forget, because I know, like, my buddy Andre, he normally gets really lucky early in a Lotto, which is exactly when you want to be lucky, right? If you're going to be unlucky, you want it to be like after you've gotten to max bonus. Oh, no. Nice try, fingers. But, like, it's funny because I'll never forget him molding, like, the one year that didn't happen to him. He was so used to it that, like, when it finally didn't happen, he was deeply upset and he was, like, getting angry about everything. And I'm like, listen, man, like, you get lucky with this shit every fucking year. It had to happen at some point. Keeps letting the flu fleur him. I know. Are you using Lartoria because waifu, or do you have a reason to not use Melisson? Okay, chat, let me counter this question with, why do you care if I use Melisson or not? Does it personally hurt you if I don't use Mel? And I only say this because it's really funny that this only really happens to me with Mel. No, it's fine. Like, honestly, if my Lartoria gets to like a high enough bond level, I'll probably switch to Mel. But yeah, I generally prefer Lartoria. She's my waifu, so. Is that question mark a video? It might be. Let me get to it. I think it's just somebody like breaking it down. Oh, use Melisson when I have an MP5 120 Irish? Exactly. Yeah, like, don't get me wrong. I understand why, because some people are like, oh, well, Melisson's just so easy. Why wouldn't you just use Mel, right? I get that. It's just like, this is exactly what I was talking about before with like how there's certain units that are both popular and really good. And so everybody will just stump for the unit and people will constantly ask you why you're not using that unit, why you're going after some other unit, that sort of stuff. So like, it's just an issue in the community in general. It's like, I don't want to make this seem like I'm like deeply offended because you asked me a question. I'm not, but like, it's one of those deals where it's like, this is a question that will just keep happening. And it's a great case in point for the point that I was making there about like how at the end of the day, this is a problem of the dev zone making. And it's partially why, like, for instance, if they would just buff Lartoria, I wouldn't get asked a question like that. But because Lartoria is like, you know, lesser in performance, people are going to be like, why aren't you just using Mel? So that is an issue, right? Like, and this is something that I wish the devs would, again, just start to like do more of the upgrades. Start getting more of the people in line so that you don't have nearly as many outliers. And so that the outliers themselves are smaller outliers, right? rather than like, oh my god, this unit is just head and tails better than the others. I'm offended because Booba, I understand. I just have no one else that can farm that node, and I'm amused seeing an efficient farming using something else. Yeah, it happens. Like, again, as chat was pointing out, like, you can also do Arish because Super Orion's Earth traded. So, like, she works really well on this node as well. My Arish is only in P1, though. So, like, would my Arish work? Maybe with MLB damage, but I doubt it. Like, so that is a another, like, solution that you could use. Again, the spreadsheet talks about a lot of the possibilities. But, yeah. And that's where, like, I understand why people roll Melisson. Because she is that strong. And it's like if you're a new player and you have no dog in this fight, like oh, which Lancer is your favorite, right? And we're just advising you based off gameplay, I would have to be like an idiot not to recommend you to roll Melisson, right? Like it's one of those deals where it's like the unit's just that strong that like I'm gonna advise every new player go after her. But it doesn't mean that she's the only solution. I'd use Karen here if I had in P2. Karen, huh? What's the Karen comp for this? I don't remember. Mother, father, gentleman. Also, what the hell am I listening to? 3 times Scotty. That would be a little spicy for me. Could it work with an Oberon? Well, I wouldn't want to do that either. Did you see the update to Palworld lawsuit? They officially gave the patents. Wait, what do you mean gave the patents? Like you're saying what they're getting sued over, or you're saying like there's been a new development even since this morning? And that's which ones are being sued for. Oh yeah. I again, if you guys are ever curious if I've seen something, go check gaming news and see if I posted it in there. Because again, gaming news is under my section. I'm normally the one that curates it to a degree. So like, yeah, I posted that in there early this morning. Nintendo's off their rocker. They're fucking stupid. And it looks even worse because I saw Palworld's response, Pocket Pair's response. They listed the date the patent was applied for and the date that it was formally accepted. And they clearly indicated this is when our game was released. So it looks so bad for Nintendo because it's just one of those things where it looks like Nintendo got salty about Pocket Pair and Palworld, decided to go out, file a patent, and then sue them over it after the fact. So it's like, it looks really bad for them because it just makes them look vindictive. Am I 6-slotting? No, this is a 5-slot. Mel can 6-slot this. I think, I think like maybe Arish can as well. But like Lartoria sorely needs that NP interlude for her to be able to do it. That's the one thing she really lacks right now. I would love for them to give her one. I don't know why they haven't. To me, they've kind of done her dirty in that regard. Because back when they were going out, handing out NP interludes to a bunch of the AoE Lancers, they just gave her a skill upgrade to her first skill. And I was like, man, that's just so unfortunate. Bill needs like what, MP3, MP5 to 6-slot? Yeah, I think so. Trend Space, thank you for the resub. Thank you for the 31. Back, but just lurking and listening. It's all good. Thank you for the lurk. Appreciate it. Those dates were for revisions of the patents. Were they? I thought that was just when Nintendo applied for them. Because that, at least that's what Pocket Pair stated. I just saw what Zev posted in CAD chat on the Discord. Like, this is fucking great. Found Cad's harem. It's literally just a shelf full of like saber faces. In Japan, patent always goes for whoever files it first. Yeah, which I think is like, that's kind of fucked up, right? Because I know at least in America, it's usually the same deal where patent always goes first, but at least like you can challenge a patent. Like, for instance, if someone comes after you, if someone files the patent, then comes after you, you can basically be like, no, I was grandfathered in because I was already doing it before they made the patent. And in fact, you can usurp it and basically say, I'm actually the creator of this. So there's really some interesting legal precedent around that stuff. I'm not totally familiar with it, but like, I would hope that Japan would have at least some sort of like counter to like, hey, I'm wielding these maliciously. I want a Castoria figure. Yeah, I still don't have one myself. I hope they make like a Castoria Berserker statue or something. I don't remember if they were or not. But I haven't kept up with most of the Fate figurines here of late. Isn't there an A2 Zerctoria one? Yeah, I would want like an A1 one or maybe an A3 one. I don't hate A2, but A2 is my least favorite objectively. Like and I know what they're going for. They're going for like the whole Alice in Wonderland thing with A2. That's why she's a rabbit. But it's still nice. What? Hello, Mr. Fox. Thank you for the raid. Welcome, everybody. How's it going? We are farming away. We just got done rolling not too long ago. Isn't bunny form a characteristic now? Yeah, they've kind of made it a thing. Which hopefully that means we get like a bunny girl event at some point. Hired this Bargu to stare at me? Listen, we just saw plenty of Bargu earlier. Did you get your cute elf? I did. We got NP3 of her and got quite a bit of Balbons and Barghests in the process. We rolled to about, like, actually, you can see it pinned in the chat. We rolled to about 900 quartz, and really, like, a lot of that stuff came early. Chat, you got me there almost. Like, I almost picked the Summer Scotty. I just got big Jalter figurine, really happy with it. Was it the normal Jalter or Summer Jalter? Chat, what are we listening to? Oh god, Rap God Morshu. Why? But yeah, no, the rolls were pretty good, other than they were very spook laden. Like we got a Shez and we got a Vlad. Like a Zerker Vlad. So it just like it was like, oh wow. I was only going to do 3 multis for Brito and was lucky enough to get her. Hey, that's nice. Yeah, the first copy wasn't too bad, thankfully. And then we got like 2 more copies relatively fast. Like I think we literally had the NP3 by like 400, 440, something like that. Like somewhere in that range. But you know, I kept rolling for greed, and then it just didn't really work out for the last like 400, 500 quartz there. So I was just like, oh, that's enough. Don't need NP5 of her. She's not going to show up easily. But how was your stream, Fox? What were you guys up to? Just doing farming yourself? Due for a spook pretty soon. Yeah. What MP level's mine? She's MP5. Like really like the fairy knights, because again I NP5 like Morgan back when she was released, so I got plenty of the 4 stars, but this was at least like more coins, so like for both of them now I have all 3 appends, and honestly I have enough coins that I should be good for even the 4th and the 5th append when they come out. Red Story then did a bit of farming. Yeah, I'm actually pretty behind on my farming. Normally I do like 500 boxes per lotto, but this lotto is not the best for me because all the materials have already been in a lotto before and I've kind of killed them. So like I don't know. I'll probably try to aim for like 300 or something boxes just so I can like top off my QP and embers again, but I don't know that I'll need to do the full 500 this time. I'll stop out of the first 10 boxes on the first day. Well, it's a really good idea to at least do 10 boxes and like get your damage C, because the damage C is really helpful for like at least being able to like 5 slot the plus nodes. Remember where she's standing on the dragon skull? Gotcha. Oh, how many did I summon? Let's see. It was 8 Balbons and 4 Bargoos. As for how many I summoned originally, oh god, I don't even know. QP and gems are never enough. Oh, see, like embers are actually, I have 2 limiters right now on my NA account. Embers and grails. I physically am limited by the number of grails by grail casting and events. And even if I use all of my grails, I have an ember problem because I basically don't have enough embers unless I just go sit on the ember gathering node. At least to like do all my 120 projects. Because I've like, let's see, how many do I have? I have all slot, I have saber, I have archer, I have lancer, I have rider, I have caster. So I currently have 6 120s on an A, and I'm working on my 7th. So like I'm just at that point where like my account physically cannot have held that many embers, and I have like had to farm out so many already. Seriously, what is this comp? So like what do you want to know about the comp? It's NP5 120 Lartoria. That's difficult enough. You could probably do it without an NP5 120, but you would need a fairly high NP level. And basically MLB damage C on her, and then just an NP1 Bryn. You do need her charge skill maxed out and her append, her mana loading maxed out. But yeah, so it's just like boom. I just basically handle wave 1 here. I don't even use her buster up, and she works for me with the damage C. I'm running the same comp without her append? Wait, how are you running the same comp without her append? You wouldn't have enough charge. Unless you mean like Lartoria's. That you might be able to get away with, but... Actually, no, you still wouldn't be able to get away with with that. You want to know how to use this totally free-to-play comp? Yeah. I mean, like, honestly, the Bryn is nice. This kind of just shows you that you can do something like this. Like, you could probably take Lartoria and replace with, like, Mel or Erish, and this would work. So, like, this is just a kind of, like, speedy comp in that regard. Yeah, so if you're doing Mel, that's not the same comp. I don't know if I'm grailing anyone to 120 besides Martha. 120 grailing, like 120 grailing will open up for us when we get the change that JP had, right? Thanks for the spreadsheet for the event. It's been very helpful. Yep. That's actually mostly Avalon that did that. I just basically was the reviewer on this one. But yeah, Avalon did a great job with it. You mean all AoE Buster Lancers aren't the same? No, I just mean that, like, by using a different unit, it changes how the comp flows, right? Like, it's why you're going to be able to get away with different things. Different units have different strengths, right? But yeah, I think when we get the change on NA that JP recently got, where, like, now the bonding is going to get you more coins, right? That is going to open up a lot more 120 capabilities for your average player. Like, Whales can 120 right now. A free-to-play could 120, but only if they manage to roll enough of a given unit. So, with the changes, that's going to make it that you can 120 every unit, in theory, just due to the amount of coins that you'll have. So you're going to start to see a lot more 120s, I think, after that point. But, like, as it is right now, I don't blame anyone for not 120ing, right? Oh, I just had to card there again, didn't I? Melisson NP seems way longer because I'm slower for sure. Melisson NP is decently long. That is one of the annoyances of using her. She works very well compositionally, but the speed of clears with her is relatively slow. Like, for instance, one of the things that's also, like, ridiculously broken about Summer Ibuki is Summer Ibuki is just incredibly fast for an NP. So, like, again, I'm not somebody that really puts too much stock in the actual, like, time of clear, unless you're having to do, like, way more. For instance, like using a plug suit comp when a non-plug suit would work. Or, hey, I'm gonna, like, have to use multiple NPs besides just the damage dealers. Like, for instance, I'm gonna have to use, like, a Castoria NP in order to have enough damage. You can do that, but that will add quite a bit of time to the, like, run. But otherwise, like, just the seconds of difference between, like, say, Lartoria's NP and Mel's NP. Yeah, I mean, I might clear the nodes faster, and as long as I'm focused here, I will make progress to the point that I will begin to out clear somebody that's using a Melisson. But all it takes is, like, a momentary, like, lapse for me to, like, sit here and talk to you guys and not press buttons. And then if that person that's also playing the Melisson is focused through that, they will have caught me at that point. Like, you don't really gain that much time from that sort of stuff, and it requires you to be constantly, like, pressing buttons to be able to take advantage of it. So that's why, like, yeah, I don't care too much about, like, the actual time differential of, like, one NP versus the other. And it's also why when people make a super big deal out of it, I usually laugh, because it's like, yeah, the absolute, like, time to clear a node is not a big factor. People think that it is. It's not. I wish Lasingle would reverse their position on not raising bond to 20. I wish they would too, but I think you can see with the coin changes that they've made that that's why they've held that line. Like, they don't want to increase bond beyond 15 because they're sitting there and going, like, okay, we designed the system for this. I'll say, I've said it many a time before, I'll say it again. I know people don't think the coin changes were planned. They absolutely were. This was always in the works. It's how they came out with the solution so fast after people got angry, and it's why the solution seemingly fits in so well. This was always something that they had planned, and the only difference is they didn't think they were going to have to pull it out that fast. So they were like, oh shit, people are finally angry. Okay, let's pull it out, right? So that's one of those things where, like I said, I think a lot of the community doesn't actually think that's the case, but to me it seems so fucking obvious due to several clues like that, where it's like, oh yeah, no, we're never going to extend the bond. It's always going to be at 15. And it's like, if you think about it, that doesn't make a whole lot of sense. Unless the system is designed around it only being to 15. And I think that's really what it is. Doesn't mean anything in the long run because you'll never be at 100% efficiency. Exactly. Yeah. Like you would have to be like focused enough where like let's say the time to clear was 10 seconds versus like 12 seconds, for instance, right? So like you start thinking about that and you're like, okay, I do 5 runs on the 12-second clear. That is going to take me 60 seconds, right? Versus somebody else doing, runs on the 10-second clear, they're going to do 6 in the time that you do 5, right? But that means that in those 60 seconds there, I had to have not stopped and not pressed the button even once. Or the flip side to think about it is that if you're going to do the slower one, you have to be even more efficient to catch the person that is time-wise more efficient than you. But really, at the end of the day, it's not a big deal. It doesn't matter. Most people are going to set their phone down, watch something, talk to someone, click on something on their computer, and not even realize that they wasted time. Just like I said, there's no real point in actually being that hard up over it. Makes sense, unfortunately, yeah. I think it wasn't LaSingle, but Type Moon that pushed the newer pins. And it's funny, because if you guys remember, right, and I love it, too, because I have people all the time that still comment on my old video that predicted the 4th and the 5th append. I literally was pointing out, hey, guys, this is a thing. You can see where they left the space to do this in the UI. It makes sense that they would do it at some point. And it's funny to see people comment and oh my God, he predicted the future. And it's yes, I did to a degree, but also I'm sad that it ended up the way that it did, because I never thought they would do the 4th and the 5th append before giving us a coin fix. And the reason that I never thought that they would is because I knew the eventuality of if they ever tried to do a 4th append before giving a coin fix, the entire server would blow up on them. Everyone would get deeply upset. And they actually did that. I can't believe they were that stupid to do that. So yeah, there may have been someone behind the scenes, either Type Moon or I think it'd be more likely actually that it was Aniplex or something trying to push for more money, where they thought hey, if we can force the 4th and the 5th append, then people will have to roll more copies and that'll get us more money. And I think they didn't think that would backfire on them somehow. They saw dollar signs and they got greedy, and it basically, oh man, that pissed people off, which, and I saw people being oh, hey, now because of the 4th and the 5th append, I can't be a completionist anymore. And I'm you never could be a completionist in this game. Being a completionist in this game is psychotic and actually just going to wreck your future. So don't ever go that hard, right? But I do understand the mentality of so for instance, let's take Lartoria, right? I have 120'd my Lartoria and unlocked all 3 of her appends. Yeah, I would be pissed if you told me I had to roll 2 more copies to be able to have enough coins to be able to actually max her. Actually, it would be 3 more copies in that regard. So yeah, I think that's stupid, right? I understand why people are upset at a base level over this, and I think it's really dumb of them. But it was wild to me to see people be well, now I can't get everything. And I'm you couldn't get everything before unless you were NP6ing and stuff like that, which I've always told you guys, I don't feel like that's good. I don't feel like you guys should be doing that. You're just incentivizing the devs to take advantage of you the more you do that sort of stuff. And if anything, we should be pushing back against requiring NP6 now more than ever, right? I think that should be a big thing, and that should be the hill that we should be trying to die on right now, is that they need to pull that back, because there's no gameplay value to a 6th copy. So I think they need to go, hey, you know what? You're right. Let's try to balance things instead for NP5 rather than NP6. People started to say they would not pull a 6 copy. That made them sweat. Yeah. I think if we started to do that again and said, hey, where's our coin fix? You promised us, and this still isn't good enough. What the hell? You guys need to make this fairer for people. I think that enough pushback would scare them, and they would cave at this point. Like, I'm not saying we need to be outraged just to be outraged, but I am saying this is one of the scummiest and worst things that the developer has done. And I think we as a community should be pushing back harder against it. And unfortunately, you see more people like kind of condoning it and incentivizing it, especially, you know, like us content creators and stuff, where like that's a problem because people want to flex that they did it. But the flip side is that, like, it's not good for the game. Like, it's good for them making money, but as you guys know, and I think it's pretty apparent at this point, the money that this game makes does not get reinvested back into it, barely. Like they get a fraction of a percentage of the total money that this game makes, rather than, like, you know, getting actual sizable reinvestment to try and grow and fix the game. So I think that's something where, who cares if they make a little bit less money because they would have to stop making money off of NP6. I think that's good for the community if they stop. It was Cad's fault all along, maybe, right? As long as you're able to clear and get what you want out of it, then that's all that matters. Yeah, I think, like, you know, to a degree, this game has always been a collector game, but I think trying to collect everything is like, yeah, that's way too much money. You can't ask that of anyone, right? Like, to me, collecting everything in a video game should be a time factor, not a money factor. It's okay to, like, have a monetary attachment or be like, hey, would you know, like to get this faster? Here's your monetization for being able to kind of skip the line, so to speak, right? You see a lot of live service games do that nowadays, where it's like you can either grind for this or you can pay money. And the only issue with that is that it's a slippery slope, because you'll see some games where they'll go like, hey, pay us money to skip. And then if you don't, we're going to make the free-to-play side living hell so that, like, it takes fucking forever. And, like, it heavily incentivizes you spending. So I think there's, like, a healthy balance that, like, these companies can find where it's not bad on the free-to-play grind, but will still take you a decent amount of time. And at the same time, if you want to, you can spend the money. A good example, this is like Helldivers. Like, Helldivers has been great because you don't have to spend a dime on it. But if you want to, it's there, and you can choose to do so to, like, support the devs, or because you're just in a hurry and don't want to wait that long, right? So I think that's a good, like, design of, like, how to handle a, like, live service monetization. And I would like to see a lot more live service games kind of handle things that way. Democracy mentioned, yes. Deep Rock Galactic, yeah, Deep Rock's another good one. Usually, again, it's these either smaller or more indie devs that they value the customer a lot more, because they're not making billions, and they basically care about their perception, and they know how much that matters. Whereas, like, the big AAA company, they don't care, because it's just a drop in the bucket to them, because they've already made, like, millions this year. So, like, that's kind of what happens, is they keep milking you, because they're like, well, you're going to keep coming back and playing anyways. I just badly botched the Arish double Oberon comp, and now 2/3 of my front line is asleep. That's impressive. So you didn't just brick one unit, you bricked two. That's I can safely say I've never done that one. I've definitely had some nasty fuck ups with Oberon, though. Co-op napping, yeah. Never questing the Super Earth National Anthem? Go for it. Yu-Gi-Oh! Live service pay $1,000 for meta deck that will die in 6 months? Yeah, I think that's, like, that sort of crap's bad, right? But that's also, and we've kind of had the same mantra in FGO, right? Like, that's why you don't chase meta all the time. It's one thing to be aware of the meta. It's another thing to, like, be a slave to it. I've told you guys this before, and I'll tell it to you again. The only units that we can argue that you really need in FGO are the quote meta supports. After that, who cares what you roll for? Like again, going back to the Melisson example versus Lartoria, like, does it really matter if I have Melisson versus having Lartoria? I clearly have a Lartoria that's capable of like pulling her own weight. She can't punch as hard as Mel, assuredly, but like she's still very capable, right? So like it doesn't technically matter as long as I have somebody that can, you know, fill the need. So it's why I tell you guys, like, yeah, roll like get those key support units that are kind of the pillars of all the comps that you run. But after that, like, do whatever the fuck you want. Roll for whoever you actually desire. Like, as long as you have your bases covered, you don't care. It's a waifu collector game, treated as such. Even though we have like 90++ content in the game, don't care about it. Like you don't have to run it. You could run 90+ instead. It's not that big of an issue. It doesn't get you like that much more in terms of efficiency. Accidentally swapped Oberon with Reigns instead of a second Oberon. Chase waifu, not meta. Exactly. It's the same concept as grailing. Grail for love, not gameplay, right? And if your unit happens to be good for gameplay, that doubly, you know, good, right? Like, more power to you at that point. But grail the units you actually like and want to use. Kane and Oberon? Yeah. I think, like, I can make an argument for like a Merlin and or Proto Merlin type character, or even like Tamamo. Like I could say like one of those three, right? Because like you do eventually want a like challenge oriented support / healer. That's really a good thing to have, particularly for the challenge content. But yeah, I don't think you have to have like every single support even. Like we can look at that and we can go like, do you actually have to have Reigns? Do you actually have to have Waver? And the answer to this is no, you don't have to. But it's always good. You'll never regret having them. It's always better to have more options rather than less. And even then, like I said, can you play the entirety of the game without Castoria? Yep. Can you play the entirety of the game without Koyanskaya, Oberon, Scotty? Yep, you can. However, you will probably be miserable. So it's why, like, I'll tell you guys, like, it's usually, like, it's my advice for you guys as a content creator to get those units. It will make your life easier. It will make the gameplay experience more enjoyable, but you don't have to if you don't want to. It's not like you won't be able to clear the content. You'll just have to get more creative with it. John can kind of replace the healing support. Kind of. I think John desperately needs an upgrade at this point, particularly on her NP. The NP interlude she has is one of the only NP interludes in the game where it got rid of a demerit but did not improve the NP. Like the getting rid of the demerit was an improvement, but like there was no scaling done to her NP. So to me, she's one of those units out there that kind of got like a half interlude. She needs the other half. She needs her NP actually like, oh, I just broke my capture card there for a second. Hold on, chat. She needs the other half of that interlude though. There we go. We're in the Valxel 90 plus, can't do plus, and that's fine. Like I said, like if you guys are stuck doing the 90 plus, there's nothing wrong with that. In fact, I think a lot of you guys are going to get stuck doing the 90 plus on rounds 2 and 3. It is what it is. Like don't fret it if you are. And that's kind of why I'm giving you guys that messaging right now, because I'm prepping you for the upcoming nodes. It's not that you won't be able to do 90 plus. It's that you probably won't want to. The node is just annoying in that regard. My luck has turned around, been 20 runs without a drop. See, I told you. Meanwhile, still haven't seen a drop. I have no idea, like what's going on with me at this point. Let's see how many boxes I'm in. 18, so that's 30 basically right there. I already opened 10, so we're 40 boxes in. I have 2 drops. Whereas like by now, a lot of people probably already had their MLB, right? I'm gonna nat AP round 2. It's not best for me. I mean, you could nat AP, you could make blue apples. I wouldn't really advise making blue apples though. Like, I would advise doing the nat AP. But just because, like, yeah, that was the meme on JP is people were like, just make blue apples. Even the 90 plus for that round is kind of oof, but like, it's not like impossible to do by any means. Is this a 6 lot comp? No, I'm using the damage C. If you were to use like Mel, you could probably 6 slot with this, but I've only got 1 MLB, so now there's just 12 more to drop. Nice. Sorry, I had to think for a second there so I didn't scuff again. You guys haven't gotten me in a little bit here. Also found a comp for Summer Ibuki for round 2 90 plus plus that seems easy to use. Yeah, Summer Ibuki is going to be really good in this lotto. And she's fairly good even into the future, but like, you know, kind of in the same argument we were having earlier there, it's like Summer Ibuki is not a unit you must have. She's just a good solid solution for a lot of nodes. But for instance, like if it's a robust node and Earth Trade is not in play, Summer Ibuki's not going to work that well. So that is one of the issues that you'll have trying to use her, is depending on the node structure, it just may not be to your advantage. But I think kind of what happened with this lotto is they didn't want to provide a lot of man traded units because Koyanskaya allows you to just wreck stuff if it's man traded. So then they were like, okay, let's make it Earth. And, you know, then naturally units like Ibuki and Erish are popping off. So I think like into the future, you're going to see them just try to like play around with that stuff. And that's part of the reason that like the round 2 90 plus plus is so bad is because it doesn't even have Earth trait for the big enemy. It has literally like star attribute instead. So you're sitting there and you're just like, ew, God, nothing is really that effective against this. Wait for it. Wait for what? It's coming, CAD, soon. Wait, I'm confused. What are we talking about? Are you guys in like trying to get me to scuff? Because I'm not going to. Strangely liberating to not have to farm at the usual all-in pace. I take it you're like me then, Maestro, and you also don't need this lotto too much. Yeah, like I think for us vets, the this lotto is not that good, which is unfortunate. But like in that regard, it's kind of relaxing because you're just like, chill lotto. I can just relax and get whatever I kind of like need, but not have to actually go hard. The Nugo Horseshoe in year 8 is not a good seller. I know. That's like, I'm surprised that they didn't try to mix in like at least one of the newer mats that hadn't been in a lotto before, but I get it. It's kind of rough because they're like, oh crap, what do we do, right? And that, again, like that may be why like this year on JP, we're probably only going to get like one lotto this year. It may be that they're trying to like tone it down some since they didn't do too much. Iliafest is better for me. Iliafest might be. I haven't looked at like what actually Iliafest has. That's bronze. Or I'm trying to, as you guys can see, I'm trying to get rid of the bronze apples here. Okay, let's go check Iliafest. One-handed grind. Okay. So that lotto, the boxes have pages, night metals, chains, fangs, and bones. That one's still not good for me either. No new materials, man. Fangs really nice for me. Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. I remember I went pretty decently hard in the Ilya Lotto on JP because that was the first time you had really had chains in a hot second. I think the last Lotto that had chains was the Nero Fest Redux that they did prior to that one. Because I remember thinking like, well, there had been chains in a Lotto, but like I had used a shit ton of them since then. And I was like basically on fumes. When is Ilya Fest? It should be around May. Like it was like late May on JP, but depending on NA's schedule, it might be like a little bit earlier. Let's see what our free quests have. So the 90 plus on round 1 has Spirit Roots and Dust. That's not bad. Spirit Roots are kind of always annoying. The plus has Meteor Shards and the LB5 Divine Spherical Orbs. Those are at least like decently rare or like widely needed. Round 2, the 90 plus has Chaos Claws and Gunpowder. And the round 2 90 plus has Tsukumo Mirrors and Rainbow Yarn. And then for round 3, the 90 plus has the 5.5 flaming Oni hearts and the LB5 silvery crown. And then the plus for that round has, oh god, that's kind of shit. It has Bacchus wine, but then it does at least have the unforgettable ashes from Trom. So not too happy about the gold material there, but the silver material in that note's really nice. Roots, ugh. No, see, roots are usually good because like it's difficult to farm a ton of roots. I need dust. You not get no dust. The 6.5 bronze there has a 94% drop rate. Nice. Oh, we got a drop. There we go. I need one more and I'll have an MLB finally. Speaking of drops, yes. That ends my drought. God, I don't know how long it had been since I had seen a drop at that point. I don't remember when I got the second one. I think the community might get a bit mad if we don't get a JP Lotto this year. Yeah, they probably will. I think you're gonna get one though. Like, I think they're just gonna like ram it in for like Christmas or something. Like, I don't think this next event is it, and I think you'll just see a Christmas event and it's a Lotto, like as is tradition. Which, like, as Avalon talked about, like I've been talking with him on this summit, and like basically they still have time to fit 3 events. So like this upcoming event, one more, and then like a 10-day Lotto again, right? But I don't know. I'm not too bullish on them having like 3 events. I think it's probably just going to be like this one and then Christmas, and then they'll kind of just stall it out in between. But we'll see if they manage to do that. That'd be really nice. We'd actually have a ton to do. But what about Gouda Gouda 9? I mean, there's the possibility that like Gouda Gouda is either intended to be this event somehow, or like probably and because I don't think that's that likely. Probably like Christmas at that point. Or maybe you just don't get a Gouda Gouda this year and they punt it till like early next year. That is something they've done. It's not like that strange for them to do something like that, because we have had years where the Gouda Gouda was not in the fall, but instead in the spring. So it wouldn't be crazy to see that, but I don't want them to like stop doing Gouda, because I definitely love Gouda. I'm not a big fan of Christmas Lotto. Actually, the last Christmas Lotto on JP, Nemo Fest, was really good. So Nemo Fest basically started out by having a 90 plus node every day. And then the 90 plus node came at the end. So Nemo Fest was a lot better than their normal Christmas Lottos. And I think you can expect that's probably how they'll do Christmas Lottos going forward. Good is the Japanese event, so I don't think we'll see them skip that. Yeah. Christmas Lotto is kind of at the wrong time for most people. I mean, we've talked about this before. Like, Japan is not as big on Christmas as, like, say, the US is. So, like, in the US, it's a big affair. Everybody gets time off for the holiday. People spend it with their families and so on and whatnot. For the Japanese, Christmas is a holiday, but it's not like a holiday that everyone has off. And usually it's like a dating holiday for a lot of people. So it's like, it's trying to think of like how to qualify it. Like, it's kind of like one of their lesser holidays in that sense. So I think for them, it's not as big of a deal if there's like conflicts. But the one time I've gotten angry at them over timing, it actually wasn't a Christmas event, but it was what they put on Christmas, which was Tunguska. I did not like the way they handled Tunguska. I felt like Tunguska was just overly punishing depending on your schedule, because you had time periods during the day that you had to play. They did that all the way back with the very first Valentine's Day event, like in year one. Everybody hated it, and they learned that lesson, and they stopped doing that ever more. And it's really funny then that they brought it back with Tunguska, because it was like they unlearned that lesson. And naturally, I think people were pissed about it. And Tunguska was all bugged up. Yeah, partially because of that, right? Like, I think and the way they phrased it is that they didn't want you to rush through the story. They wanted to make sure that you read it. So that's why they time gated the raids instead of making the raids available the entire time. But the reality was that had they made the raids available the entire time, people would have felt more leisurely about farming them. And so that was kind of the problem I think that they ran into, is they basically tried to do something to help people read story, but it backfired and had the opposite effect. Hello, Ryan. How's it going? I want to ask your opinion on what I did for this lotto. Made the damage C level 50. Would it work all right for 5C runs? Oh yeah, for 5C you'll probably be fine. Getting to level 50 is not too bad. That usually, like, for any given CE, that's a 5-star at least. Trying to get the CE to level 50 is usually just one craft essence bomb, which is really easy. Meanwhile, the amount of experience you need to go from 50 to level 100 is the other, like, 7 remaining craft essence bombs. So basically, it takes 8 CE bombs if you're doing the level 1, or, basically the 1-star CE bombs. If you're doing 1-star CE bombs, it takes 8 of them at level 50 to get you all the way to 100 on a craft essence. Doing 1 of them will get that craft essence to 50. Doing 7 more will get it from 50 to 100. So, like, yeah, getting a C to 50 is relatively easy, very minimal investment, and you get, like, basically half the reward from leveling it up, at least attack power wise. By the time I read the part the raid was over, yeah. Like I said, I think it would have been a lot better had they made the raids just available and not have like a health bar, and instead like the raid is just there and it will expire when the time expires at the end of the day. And then that way it would have been more like forgiving to people that could only play during certain times of the day. Because like I was pointing out, like what's unfair about having a raid available only during a certain time period in a given day is that, like, let's say the raid is available from like 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. Okay. What if you like have a job as like a waiter and that is your shift? Like your job just precludes you from being able to participate. What if you had a date that night and you went out and like either with friends or you know, a loved one, and you were unable to participate? What if you had a like business meeting or something during that time period? Like, who knows? Who cares? The point that I'm trying to make with that sort of thing is like, it's kind of annoying when they make something only available during a time period during the day rather than available throughout the entire day. If it's available throughout the entire day, you can probably find some point within a 24-hour period to sit down and play a little. But when it's only available during a certain time period, you might just get screwed. So that's one of the things I don't like about that style of like raid design. Guess I'll die. Yeah, it's like, okay, cool. I just won't get any of the benefit of this. Which thankfully, like those early raids were really not that good. But imagine if they had been, right? Like that would have been kind of rough. Where's my Black Grail raid up? Never. Imagine having a life, right? Like, it's wild. Surely the biggest issue is that you need to be playing another gacha game instead during that time period. Like, you have all of your gacha games. You play like 12 different gacha games and you have them bracketed out for the hours that you can play them. And therefore, you can't play FGO during that time because you're busy playing like, you know, Hello Kitty Island Adventure Gacha Fun Time. The 6C or 5C? This is 5C. I was so angry Ivan went down. I was counting on that period for mats. Yeah, I mean, I talked about that with you guys because, like, thankfully, Ivan's mats were not that big of a deal. Like, there are other times you can acquire them. For instance, like this Lotto, right? Like, so at the end of the day, missing out on those wasn't too big. If you missed out on the final raid, though, that fucking hurt. That was one where, like, that raid was really lucrative as opposed to some of the other ones where it's like, oh, this just gives, like, one material. But yeah, like, I don't know. They kind of jobbed in A with that stuff, but at least they compensated us for it. So, like, at the end of the day, they acknowledged they made a fuck up and they gave us compensation. So I wasn't too butthurt. But I did see a lot of people that were like, I'm not going to forgive you. How dare you do this? And I'm like, I mean, I'm going to say people shouldn't be that tightly wound about stuff like that. But I do believe that that's something like, okay, this is a problem of La Single's own making. Why? Because they launched the event during Christmas. And Christmas is a lot bigger in the US. And what happened was the localization staff launched the event and then went home for the holiday. And so, like, when shit broke, they had no way to fix it. They were all off work during that time. So it was just kind of funny to see. All the glorious memes that came out of it. Yeah. Scheduled like midnight for like 80% of the US in Tunguska. Yeah, and I called them out for that, and I still stand by that. I understand that Aniplex of America is on the West Coast, but you have to be some kind of stupid to run a time-limited event like late in the evening when the majority of your consumer like player base is like later in the evening than you are. Like, I don't get that, right? Like, to me, that's something where you need to go, hey, no, we need to change the timing of this so that it works better for our people, right? I know that's the time period that it was in Japan, but the time period that it was in Japan, literally they only have one time zone. Whereas in America, yeah, there's four different time zones you have to worry about. Plus, technically, the NA server is the global server. So like that also has special considerations at that point. But yeah, it seemed to me like they just didn't even really pay attention to that. And actually, if I remember correct, I think they did change the time period. I don't think it happened at the exact same time it did on JP. I think they adjusted it to be better for the West Coast time zone. And that was one of the other reasons that I was upset about that. Because had they not made the adjustment, it would have probably been fine. But the second they made the adjustment, it made it terrible for the East Coast. Reset for me is like 10 p.m. now, 11 p.m. And don't get to play till like 3 to 4 a.m. Jesus. It's so dumb. They should know EST is the only time zone that matters. No, I mean, like, I'm not going to be like East Coast elitism, right? I'm just going to say that in general, it's pretty stupid if you have a like NA based game and you don't consider all four time zones, right? Like for scheduling purposes. This isn't East Coast is the only time zone that matters. It's me being upset over them thinking that the West Coast is the only time zone that matters. That's just stupid. If you're going to be a game developer and you're going to run a game and manage it, thinking that way is dumb and going to cost you money. You won't be East Coast elitism, but I will. Yeah, no, it's fine, right? Like, but I absolutely will go to bat for the East Coast in that regard. We got fucked by that, and that's not fair in that regard. So it's why, like I said, like I'm gonna sit there and I'm gonna get upset over the devs, and people are like, "Oh, why are you calling them out?" I'm like, "Well, because they deserved it, right? They should not think about things that way." I don't know how you could even fix the issue with Christmas here versus there. It's impossible. Yeah, I agree. Like, so it's at that point where they just need to go like, hey, look, if you're going to have an event on the holiday, one, dot your I's and cross your T's. Make sure that everything, you've gone through all the code line by line to make sure that there's not going to be an issue. Two, take your fucking laptop with you so that you can access the server when there is an issue that you didn't foresee. And three, basically you need to be like actually again tailoring things to the consumer base that you have over here and how it's different than Japan, right? Japan didn't care as much about an event happening on Christmas. NA will care about stuff like that. In Germany, it's 5 a.m. for the Switch. Yeah, that's fucking wild. But at least at that point, like, you just wake up and it's like refreshes happened, right? I would say Asia was the best time zone for FGO since the maintenance and date in the afternoon. Yeah, it's really interesting because, like, I think if I remember correctly, like in Japan, the reset happens roughly around like 6 p.m. Like as people are like basically getting off work and riding on the subway and the train and stuff like that and the buses. So it's like it's designed to reset for them so that they have like a new day to play. Whereas like over here with us, it resets at the end of the day for us. Which again, I think it's just two different ways of handling it. The one thing I will say though that I dislike is the fact that our reset happens like at night. And so it sucks for me as an East Coaster because, oh, hey, a new story chapter's out. And one, I don't get to do it with you guys on stream anymore like I used to be able to, because it used to be that you would get new story releases at the like 7/8 p.m. reset instead of at the hard reset. So now I don't get to do story with you guys nearly as often for events. And basically, instead, I have to wake up and do it in the morning before I head to work, which puts a like huge strain on my timing for work and stuff like that. So I wish that they would. I wish they would have like managed that a little bit better. Is noonish for us, yeah. Love those chapters dropping when I have to be in bed from work. Yep. Hayes, thank you for the 70, the big 7-0. Where we start with Lotto, I'm now at the point where not having Oberon is hindering my Lotto runs. Yeah, again, like you don't have to have Oberon, but he really does help for stuff like this, right? Like, and I tried to tell people that, and people are like, "Nah, I don't need Oberon." I'm like, okay, you don't have to have him, but like, you'll probably regret it at some point. But at least there'll be another opportunity to roll for him. You should be getting a banner here in December, like just prior to LB7. You'll have another crack at him. They're willing to give us banners and rewards JP never had. They can also change bad aspects of timing and release to make it easier for us to play the game in a convenient way. I agree. And the like, just to play devil's advocate here for a moment. So like, I'm gonna go to bat for the devs. I can see a scenario in which, like, again, I don't think Aniplex of America actually handles any of the software slash like engineering side of things. I think all the coding and everything like that is done by the JP side. I think the staff over here is the localization staff, if I had to guess. So at that point, I can see a scenario in which it becomes difficult to ask for small minutia like that. Maybe either due to language barrier or due to like not wanting to piss off your overlord. But I can see a scenario in which like, yeah, like they can get a change, but it needs to be something big. But if that's the case, they definitely need to like change that, right? They need to have a more open relationship and have something where they can have a more freer discourse and discussion of like changes that need to occur and stuff like that. Oberon's third skill doesn't stack, right? Correct. The NP boost doesn't, the Buster Up will. People are like, I can just use other people's Oberon, but what if you need two Oberons? I did point that out back in the day, but people are like, oh, I don't believe you, right? Like that's not a thing. I'm never going to do a double Oberon comp. And you're like, okay. But hate Oberon as a character, but he's way too useful. Yeah, like it is what it is. And again, it goes back to my point of like you don't have to roll the meta supports, but they certainly make your life easier, right? Like don't think about it from a perspective of like you're saying like hate and stuff like that. Like just be pragmatic about it. Think about it like if I have this unit, like I can boost my waifu even harder, right? Like I can make my waifu do more damage because I got the appropriate support for them. So in that regard, that's how I've always thought about it. And I've said like, yeah, you guys should just be trying to get everything you possibly can to make your favorite unit even stronger. Cat, can I ask what comp you're going to use for the 90 plus plus next round? I have not thought about that. Let me take a look here real quick. Let me get this this run set up. The good thing I like about this comp is relatively all the button pressing happens at the beginning. Okay. Let me go open Le Guide. All right, round 2, 90 plus plus. I mean, I can 5-slot with Summer Ibuki, double Castoria, and Squirtoria. I'm sad we don't have Squirtoria's charge skill. Just for like the ease of charge alleviation here, but it's not like I can't use her. But that would probably free up needing the second Castoria. I could potentially pull off the 6 slot. The only problem is like I'm gonna need to level my drop C to level 100 to be able to pull something like that off. So I actually have a robust enough Squirtoria to do that. Need that NP2 Oberon? Yeah, which I at least have. I have an NP2 Oberon of my own, so I would just have to take a support Oberon. The problem with this is this would literally bond my Castoria, and I would still be having to do double Squirtoria NPs. Like, it wouldn't be the end of the world, but it wouldn't be all that fast of a comp because of that. Like, definitely not ideal in that sense. Persona go for 90 plus because no plug double. Yeah. Like being able to do a no plug comp definitely like speed things up, right? But that's those would be the two that I would target. And part of that is again just Charlemagne there. Like if you have a really powerful Ishtar, this node wouldn't be that bad for you, but the real problem there is that Bradamante at that point. The fact that she is like your best solution is an archer, but she is a counter to that archer is a problem. Sorry, just pressing buttons here behind the scenes. Okay. Yeah, you guys can see why this was just such a problematic node. A lot of the comps are plug suit, even things like a rash getting mixed in so that you have the capability of being able to like swap stuff around. So it gets kind of nasty. And then if I were to go run the 90 plus compositions, yeah, that's such a stupid easy comp. Holy crap. It's just double Dobrin and Atalanta, who herself I think is chaotic evil. So like she's getting double buffed by both the Oberons as well, and she's a berserker, so all of her carding is going to be effective. It's only not going to be effective against the Koyanskaya of Dark, so that'll be a little bit of an issue. But since you're dealing with alter egos, that is strong. The real problem for something like that is going to be having to find a Doman on support within MLB CE. That can be rough if you don't know the right people. So you might need to ask people to put a Doman up for you. I would just like to point out the spreadsheet creator's bias here. Every time you see a single target assassin, it will always be Chioma. I was surprised because Avalon came up with a lot of summer Tamamo comps, but again, like for instance in this node, I'm using Bryn and I'm getting away with it, so like there are replacements for some of these units, and this is where like knowing more of the roster can really help you out. Yeah, like the Summer Valks comps are going to be easy for most people to do. A lot of you guys will have like your Castoria and your Oberon, so you'd be able to do that one. Or a lot of you'll have Lady Avalon, and you'll be able to do that as well. Like the 90 plus seems a little bit more forgiving compositionally. This one's not bad because then you can, if you have a comma here, you can basically take your Summer Valks, take your comma, and then pick one between either Castoria and Oberon, and take the other on support, meaning you won't have to bond that unit. Yes, the Merlin Oberon comp. I did yeah, okay. I did specifically tell Avalon to give you guys a note about the fact that Like, as long as you guys are plug suiting one for the other, it's not an issue. But I knew somebody was gonna like look at that and freak the fuck out and be like, "Wait, Oberon has that passive," and it's like, yeah, it's not an issue as long as he's not in the field at the same time. Anyway, Proto Merlin isn't Merlin traded? No comment. Tai Sui is dumb too. Although this one's not even really in his niche, is it? I don't think the Koi and Skyas are sky traded. Oh wait, no. Wait, is his sky trade or is this man? I don't know why I was thinking it was Sky. You may be right. I may be crazy. Yep, Karen continues to just do Karen things. Karen, like, I think a lot of people underestimate Karen, but Karen is actually like one of these like stronger units in the game. At least just for like raw NP levels. 6 star equals 6 lot. Yeah, that's Avalon's indicator for like, hey, this is a 6 slot comp. Which you're gonna see most of the 90 plus is 6 slot, most of the 90 plus plus is 5 slot. And then again, I asked Avalon to put an example of what a 6 slot in this round would look like. Because it is not pretty. I'm just trying to remember if there was something about this comp where I was like, oh man, I'm not sure I'll be able to do that. I think it's literally just the MLB drop C, and that's not difficult. I'm sure my Squirtoria is strong enough. I got it down to NP2. Wait, for what? For Oberon? Oh, NP5 on Oberon. Thank you. Yeah, that's what I was remembering because I was like, oh man, I thought it was like a really, really strong Oberon that you needed. And I was like, it doesn't look like it's that bad. So turns out if you use one of the skill 3s on Oberon himself, it'll boost it more. Yeah, fancy that, right? Buster unit gets stronger with Buster. Did it not matter for the Squirtoria then? Or did you just basically bump up the Squirtoria NP level requirement? I don't remember what hers was. Two more egg drops and I can finish Space Ishtar so close. Why would you curse yourself? Now you'll have to go multiple runs before you see that drop. It was NP2 before Unsquirtle, if I remember correctly. Yeah, I'd say it's a fair trade. NP3 instead of requiring NP5 of another unit. That's a fair trade. How does round 3 90 plus plus Summer Kiara work with skill 3 at level 1? I think we assumed failure on it, didn't we, Avalon? No failure? Okay. I know you've done that before. Kentucky has no magic resist. Ah. Isn't that the norm? You assume failure? Only when it's a debuff that we're working with or a chance buff. And again, like in the case of a debuff, if the target has magic resistance, but if the target doesn't have magic resistance, then yeah, Avalon's right. There's no need to assume it. The round 3 90 plus plus with Summer Kiara. We'll take a look. No requirement on skills. Feels good, man. Well, it is an NP2, right? And you've got triple supports. Your real problem isn't the first 2 waves. Your real problem is Kentucky. And that is an MLB damage C right there. So you've got an extra class unit that's actually dealing effective damage, unlike normal. It's got an MLB damage CE. It's got triple supports. Yeah, I can see that. I can see it doing that much damage. And you can see here, like, so if you step down to, like, instead of Lady Avalon to Shufu, now this kind of requires some love. Do you ever plan to make a Dorelia? Wait, what do you mean Dorelia? I'm confused. Researching coming up with the comps myself by looking at threats of enemies. Yeah. And you can ask Avalon, because a lot of the years I'll also poke and prod his comps and sit there and be like, hey, did you consider this? Did you do that? Like, why are you using this one when you can use that one? Like, so a lot of the times, even if Avalon misses something, I'll catch something. Can't wait for Santa Aurelia. A Doro of Aurelia? I'm confused. I don't know what a Doro is. You mean a Daki? Yeah, the body pillow is a Daki, unless there's like some other thing. It's a Nikkei meme? Oh, okay, sweet. So I would have no possibility of knowing what this is. Never mind. Disregarding. Doro is the Padaru of the Nikkei community. Okay, now I extra don't care because it just means that they're lifting shit out of Fate. It's just a comparison. Oh, I got you. The name is just similar. Oh. Either way. Will I ever make one? No. That's crazy, not gonna lie. Like the way that Avalon comes up with this stuff, and part of this comes from like years of doing this. Like, we're not new to this stuff, guys. So like coming up with the spreadsheets, we pretty much already know. Like let's say there is a new Lotto node and Avalon needs to come out with it. Like what comps will work for it. And let's say that the given class for the node is writers. Immediately that tells us a lot about like what comps will work for the node already, just right there. There's the usual suspects, and then from there it's figure out the comp that works, run the numbers, see if there's any tweaks you can make to it to like drill it down, save yourself on skills, and basically see if you can get away with like using lesser important support. So like for instance, using Shufu over using like say a Lady Avalon, right? Like, so again, all of that'll go in and we'll just sit there and we'll just be like, oh yeah, okay, that works, that doesn't work, yada yada yada, right? Yeah, then Bob comes out of the woodwork. I was say Bob was the creator of a lot of the early tools that we used to do the calculations originally. But it's pretty easy to do nowadays. Like, and I'm not gonna say like nobody else can make a spreadsheet. We normally have quite a few people in the Fate community that do. But a little bit like one of the reasons that I think we started making them, because we were not the first people to make them either, but one of the reasons that we started making them was we noticed an issue that with a lot of the other spreadsheets was basically that people were proposing just insane shit that was not really possible, or it would be the equivalent of like they got lazy, where it's like, hey, like let's say you have like a Mordred comp for a node, and it's like, okay, this requires NP5 Mordred. And then I would be like, okay, that's cool, but I'm actually able to get it done with NP2. Like they would be that far off in the calculation that you were just like, holy shit, this looks impossible to do, but it's actually not impossible at all. And so I started to realize it's like, yeah, we just need better like quality control and like something where it's like, hey, we can actually say this works well and we can present this to people and not have to like worry about their either inability to do it or again, like the numbers being super far off. We do occasionally have an error with like one of the comps or something like that, but it's usually not that big of a deal. And the vast majority of the comps are going to be calculated well. Or like including Abby, Mabe, Janako, etc. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so like for instance, the second you see Earth Niche in an Archer node, that screams Erish Kagal, right? Like it's definitely going to be one of those deals where you're just like, okay, that immediately resonates, and you know to check that to make sure that that's going to be a good comp. That I broke into refund with trying to get it all down to the lowest requirements is fun. Or, oh, you need MP4. Yeah, like one of the other things that we try to do with the spreadsheet is we usually try to go to the lowest common denominator. So like we will try to beat the comp down to the point where it's like you guys saw with that 6 lot comp, Avalon's like, hey, I found a way to get it down from being NP5 Oberon down to NP3, or sorry, down to NP2 Oberon, and instead we bumped up the Castoria by 1 NP level, or the Squirtoria. So like that was a good trade. And so it's like that's kind of where that stuff will happen, where it's like we'll try to get it down to the lowest common denominator so that you guys have a more like approachable comp. And that's also why I said like I'm not gonna like let them do any comps that require grails. Usually I won't let them do comps that require an NP5, because to me, if we're requiring NP5s all the time, it becomes a whale spreadsheet and then no one can fucking do it. And it's not a useful tool to the community, right? Like it's more about finding good comps that the majority of people can run, right? Unless, oh, you're going to say unless it's a saber face? It's absolutely a requirement to actually use that unit. You know, I don't think Avalon put a Buntoria comp in this one. I'm sad. But no, like in all honesty, right, like in general we try to make the spreadsheet as minimalistic as possible for you guys. There's a lot of data in there. I don't want to make it seem like the spreadsheet doesn't have a lot of bells and whistles on it. It does, but we try to make the comps at least like as easy to do as possible. He did Chiome, though. That's close enough. No, that's not. That doesn't scratch my itch. That only scratches his. I can't complain. He's the one that made it, right? No bunny, I checked. SMH my head. No, I mean, to be fair, like, in order to be able to pull bunny off, you would probably have to, like, go pretty ape shit with this stuff, right? So, like, you would need a very robust bunny like I have. And I'm still not sure it would actually kill all the time. So, yeah, this is sort of the issue with this stuff is, like, if we're going to require NP5s, we may as well just not recommend that. So there have been a couple times that we have shown NP5s, and I can think of one very specific instance, and it's why I use that as an example. I was talking about, like, for our example, like, it was a rider node, right? Rider nodes are particularly notorious. They are usually very bad because our assassins are not the best in terms of damage, nor are they the best in terms of looping usually. So whenever we get a rider node, we know to watch out. And there has been a time where we had to put NP5s in the fucking spreadsheet for a rider node. And the reason why? Because nothing else worked. There was no, like, good comps for certain units. Like, if you're like, hey, can a Semiramis clear this node? Yes, at NP5. Like, and it's still kind of crappy. So it's like, we had several recommendations like that, where it's like, we know someone's going to ask, can this unit clear? And unfortunately, because it was a rider node, it was like, well, there's only like one or two comps that we have otherwise that don't require the NP5. So we may as well put the NP5s in so that people can understand this is sort of the annoyance of this node, right? But yeah, most of the time we won't do that. Most of the time we'll keep things like NP1, NP2, heaven forbid NP3, but that's usually the highest we'll really go on things. That's because, like, again, we're trying to make it free to play accessible. We're trying to make it cheap to play accessible. We don't think you guys need to be whales in order to be able to farm the lotto. And I understand the frustrations when people are like, I can't do any of these comps. I get that. And that's kind of one of the things. But usually when we talk to someone that's like, I can't do these comps, they're either that new or they're somebody that, like, hasn't invested in their units really. And we just go like, okay, sorry, but there's nothing we can do to help you. Like, there is no composition that we can make it so that you can, like, 5-slot and 3-turn the node because your account is just not taken care of, right? Like, we can't manufacture a 3-turn for you out of thin air other than to tell you to basically stack all damage CEs and pop 3 command seals. That's the only way you're getting through it if your account is crap. Okay, I just rolled for Lalter. She's finally home. Hey, nice, Aniko. I think the highest I had here in this sheet for the 90++ was NP4, like Lartoria and Arc. Yeah, and like Lartoria was another one where it's like people are going to ask, so it's like you may as well put it in. And to be fair, she's not the worst for this node. She actually does have one of her power mods against the worst enemy in the node. The problem is, again, she just doesn't really have an NP interlude. So that is one of the problems that you run into. But can she kill? She can. It was reasonably new, and I couldn't find any comp that wasn't 6C. Oh, the Da Vinci rerun? Yeah. Oh, damn, I thought there was a drop there. Please, why you hate me, Lalter? Some of the 4-stars are nasty if you can't, like, get them on a solo raid up. And she's story locked, so you don't get many cracks at her. P-mod on top of 200% damage C isn't impactful. Yeah, it's the same type. So if you guys need a little bit of a lesson on buff stacking, basically you will run into scenarios where, like, the whatchamacallit, right? The same type of buff stacks with another one, and it doesn't scale very well because you already have so much of it. So damage CEs in event are power mods and affect that same sort of niche. So if you have a 200%, increase from a damage CE, and then you have a power mod on a unit, as opposed to, like, say, super effective damage, or a card type buff or something like that, the card type buff and the super effective damage, they'll scale multiplicatively with that damage C. But your power mod, Your power mod will not. Your power mod's additive with that. So it doesn't get as good of scaling basically because of that. It may not be the end of the world, but it certainly means that it would be better had you had a different type of buff. So that's where something like, say, Erish and her super effective Earth modifier, that's going to scale better with the damage C compared to a power mod, right? I could do the rail comp. That does not mean I want to. Right, like I ain't never doing any gong comps despite being able to. Yeah, there's some comps, and that's what I was talking about. Like, it's the same thing with like Summer Kuro later when she comes out. You can do them. They're very strong and powerful. You don't want to have to do them. Like they're what I would call an annoying, tedious comp, right? Where it is possible to do. You might do it if it's your only possibility, but if you have any other choice, you're probably not doing that because it's just such a pain in the ass to do. A lot of these comps are like ones where it's like, oh my god, you have to like NP with both Castorias. You have to like also have like a Rash killing himself and rotating the party. You have to basically be sitting there and just setting up and doing all these extra button presses, extra NPs. It's just bogging down the comp. It's making it take more time. It's making it more tedious and easier to fuck up. And you would much rather just run like a traditional, like, you know, like for instance, double Koyan Skya setup or something like that. So like you see that and you're just like, yeah, I'm not doing that. It's not worth the time and the effort I have to give. Power to efficiency ratio, yeah. Press a lot of buttons in my comp anyway, and even I don't want to. So this is one of the things that I'm really good at. I'm really good at taking a comp and reducing it down to its base. So if I have a stronger unit, for instance, than say the requirements, like let's take Lartoria here. In Avalon spreadsheet, a NP4 is required. I have an NP5 120. So what do? I start backing out skills. I see what I can get away with until I get to the base value of a consistent clear. And then that I learn is the base amount of like button presses that I actually need. I fucked up. Chat, you guys get one more scuff here. I think I suspect what happened is I rotated Oberon turn one and I probably popped his first skill. I knew that was gonna happen, and it finally did. Yeah, I didn't get any charge from that. Let's do... Hold on. I actually need to heal him or he will probably die. Oh, thank you for the match, Prophet. Hornet TV and Sir Mojo, congratulations on your gift subs. How goes the farming? I have no idea. I mean, other than the scuff right here, I have no idea how much charge I'm at. Thankfully, this will still clear, because a lot of this power is just packed into Oberon's third skill here, so having the Mystic Code, I should still be able to do the deed. Yeah, there you go. So still did 1.2 mil. A rash might NP? No, I'm good. That sort of thing definitely doesn't happen. But like, for instance, let me show you guys the other comp here real fast. And I'll show you exactly what I mean, right? Well, that's strange. There we go. Okay, so the way I was doing this, and I think copy party. Yeah, I'm not going to use that one, so boom. That copied that to here, so now I still have this. Wait, no, not Foreigner. I did want Pretender. My brain is fried at this point. So this is like the traditional double Koyanskaya Oberon setup. And this is what I was running this morning. Like, I hadn't looked at the spreadsheet. I didn't have time. I just set up a comp and I went burr, right? Oh, wait. No, this is going to be a problem. I forgot something. I didn't start out with cranking. So this is going to get spicy. Let me see what I can do here. That's not gonna matter. Let me just go. Second scuff incoming? It might be. So right there, I already saved myself one button press. What do I mean? I didn't use her mana burst. And this is a double Korean Sky comp, and I can definitely do that, right? So you're sitting there and you're like, wait, why wouldn't you do that? Well, why should I if I don't have to? Now, I'm fucked here because I didn't get the right cards, but basically... I wonder if I can make her low ball. Well, fuck it. I'll just eat it. Just to showcase this, right? So now imagine I had started out with a 50% C, okay? So I popped this, I've popped that. I've done the base minimum of like Korean Skya skills. And essentially, I've managed to get away without having to press either of the man traits. I've managed to get away without having to press this. Wait, what was I doing? I'm trying to think about like how the fuck I did this. Oh, right. Yeah, okay. Ugh. Ugh. God. So you can see that like my Lartoria just shits on this. Believe in the art crit that believes in you. There's no way to actualize it, right? Because I knew my Lartoria was strong enough that she was just gonna kill anyways. I was like, oh, maybe I can make her low ball, but I didn't finish that thought, and my internal thought was, no, I can't. Here, I'll do another run. I'll show it. I have to switch the CE is my problem. Azure, enjoy your gift sub. Okay. Back in once more into the breach. Profit, thank you for the match. And Foxwind, enjoy your sub. What am I doing? Give me off that. Give me on that. Okay. Now we're back to the C. And actually, yeah, I can still do it that way. So let's try. All right, so welcome to starting from zero with Lartoria. It is possible to do. I just didn't use the right CE for it. Duke of Flame is a really, really strong overcharge CE. It's all attack scaling. Gives MP strength to 25%, which means it's actually stronger than something like, say, Cranking. At least assuming that I am kind of just doing NP. If I have to card, it's a little bit less strong than something like Cranking, but it is what it is. And that's also where something like Rising Mud Rain comes in. Actually, Rising Mud Rain's probably stronger. I should have just done that. But whatever. At least for demonstrative purposes here, we have this. So, for instance, I popped those two. Now, in theory, where you start out with Lartoria from a 0% starting charge standpoint, I need to pop this first skill right now because it's the only way I'm going to get back to it since I literally have to use one of the Koyan Sky charge skills. Thing is, I know I don't need it. Why don't I need it? Because my Lartoria is stronger than the Lartoria that's projected for this node. So I just go, fuck it. I don't care about getting back to it. I'll just leave it on unpop and not use it. Then I'm going to use both these right here. I don't need any of Koyan Skaya's second skills in theory because nothing in this node is man traded. Everything here is actually Earth. So knowing that helps me out as well. So I just go like, okay, I'm only going to use that if I need the Star Bomb from it, which I might. Let's see. Okay, my spread actually includes a Lartoria Buster. And would you look at that? It's already got 100 stars. So basically, I'm good. Sorry, 100% crit rate, not 100 stars. I could pop this if I wanted. I don't actually need to. So we're just going to go ahead, rotate out, bring in the Oberon. And then from there, I'm going to go ahead and pop that. That's going to bring her up to 60. I'm going to pop the other Koyan Skya charge skill. It's going to get me my second skill back. I will use that because it's more damage. And you can see somehow this messed me on the stars, so I'm not guaranteed a crit here. I have a choice now. I can either go ahead and go back and waste some more time and pop this skill to guarantee the crit, or I can risk it. Let's risk it just to kind of see. There you go. She crit, and look at that. She one shot. So that is faster than using an NP. But not only is it faster than using an NP, it's also faster on this turn, because now I don't need to use Oberon's second skill or my Lartoria's second skill. So now, because of good RNG, I found a method by which I have saved myself an entire Noble Phantasm's worth of time and 2 button presses. On top of the, multiple button presses I already saved her in this comp. So you can see this is a way in which I can go, oh, wow. Yeah, actually, I should have started with the quick card. Thank you. But yeah, this is what I do. When I run a comp hundreds of times, I start picking it apart and I start finding, again, the lowest common denominator in the comp itself that will work with my unit. Because again, a lot of the times I have an NP5 variant of a unit in a node that we only need NP1 or NP2 of. So my job at that point is to figure out how little I can get away with instead of just, obeying the letter of the comp and doing everything I need to. This is something that you'll Avalon can attest on the side, during a lotto or something like this. I usually take one of his comps and I'm sitting there being like, hey, you think I can get away with this? You think I can do this? And I'm sitting there experimenting on my own and stuff like that, just trying to basically find ways to make it stupidly efficient. And that's how, if you guys are remembered in the past, I've had some lotto runs where I was running a one press comp. And you guys are like, how the fuck is that possible? That's how I found a way to just sit there and go, I only need to press that skill this one time. It's great when it works. Could have just Mighty Chain too? No, I could not have. Because I literally needed to crit, right? Sorry, I guess I could have, but if I did not crit, I ran the risk of basically needing the NP to kill. So my brain just went to put the NP in anyway, so I had double buster cards there. So that's why I wasn't thinking about Mighty Chain. Would the Mighty Chain have secured the crit? Yes. So I don't know. My brain was just in demonstration mode though. I asked him if you could swap out a proto for a Merlin because I didn't have a proto. Yep. Is that a big Baba Boo? Yes. Use Chaldea app to test comps without wasting AP. I'm gonna be real with you. Like, don't do that. It will take you longer to set up the comp than to just run the fucking node and take an extra turn or two if it fails. Like, however, there's a caveat to this. If you think you're gonna fuck up, do not brick the run with an Oberon third skill, right? You need to be careful about how you use that. Don't use that until you're ready to kill. That is the one advice I have for you. If you're going to do things my way. So there's two ways of doing things. There's two approaches. And like basically Bob, Avalon, they'll calculate you an answer in the same way you guys are saying, like, use Chaldea app. And then there's my way. I could wait for them to get me an answer, or I can run into the fucking node and do it right now and have that answer, right? Like, so I'm very much a doer rather than a tester in that regard, right? So I didn't get the Buster card this time. We're going to go ahead. I actually shouldn't have popped that there, but whatever. Given the fact that I didn't get a Buster card there, I should still be fine. But basically, yeah, like, so I'm just going to go ahead, I'm going to test it, and I'm basically just going to have the answer faster than anybody could calculate it. And then that's going to basically get me back into the node even faster. So if your testing goes well, if you have a decent inclining for what can work, you're good. The other way you can do this too is if you're like trying to be like me and you're trying to figure out how to get rid of a skill and you think you can do it, but you're not sure. Wait till you have like good cards, right? Like wait till you're like, oh shit, I've got a Buster crit. Now I can definitely do this. Don't test it on the run where your cards are shit and you don't have a fallback, right? Right, but if the node isn't up, we can't do that. Yeah, no, that's perfectly fine. If the node's not up, your only choice is to be able to do stuff like that. But once the node's up and you're trying to figure out something else, fuck it. Just go in and test it yourself. It's fast. I'll also be careful with the ZNP too. Yes. Yeah, Oberon's a tricky unit. He's got a lot of complexities that you need to be careful about. In fact, if I remember correctly, that's the reason why my like Oberon analysis is like an hour long, is because I had to talk about all the caveats on him. So it is what it is. But all right, chat. That is going to be it for me tonight. I didn't realize how late it had already gotten. So let me see. Oh, Mr. CZ's on. I'm going to go send you guys his way. He is farming the lotto himself. CZ's also a member of Team Explosion, my stream team. If you guys want, make sure you go give him a follow. He also streams on YouTube for those of you guys on the YouTube side of things. So go check him out there. And again, if you guys haven't already, join the Discord. You'll have access to the spreadsheet and all the guide materials that you guys need. You can also talk to people in chat if you're trying to come up with comps or you're having issues with anything, maybe like the CQs or something like that. So again, always welcome on the Discord. Highly recommend you guys get on there. It's the easiest way to keep in touch. As for this weekend, I don't know if I'll stream or not. If I do, I may do like, you know, again, Lotto grind. I may do something variety, or who knows, maybe we even do like a sort of like not Twitch stream, but instead like a Discord stream where it's like we're streaming like anime or a movie marathon or something like that. So anyways, thank you guys for being here. Go give CZ my love. Did that go through? Wait, huh? What do you mean invalid username? You already have a raid in progress. Okay, apparently I already have a raid in progress. I don't know when it's going to end. Oh. I think it just ended. Anyways.